U Sports on CBC, présenté by U Sport à Radio-Canada, une présentation du gouvernement du Canada, the Government of Canada. Nike, Fox Sporty, Veraburn Medical Supply, Les Bagues Baron Rings, BioSteel, APAR, and by Booster Juice.
Good evening and welcome to the Langley Event Center. This is the home of the Trinity Western Spartans, and this is the home of the 2026 U Sports Women's Volleyball Championship. It is time now for quarterfinal number 3 between the Trinity Western Spartans and the UBC Thunderbirds, and my oh my, these two teams have some history. My name is Tim James. Ryan Adams doing the color commentary alongside Trinity Selecki, and Trinity, of course, a former player with the UBC Thunderbirds. We'll talk more about that in just a moment. First, let's talk about what we saw today. So Ryan, taking a look at what we saw with the brackets. It was that Thompson Rivers 5-setter against the Verreor, and it was Sherbrooke coming out on top. One of the most exciting ones we'll see this quarterfinal, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, it was amazing, Tim, coming into this gym at 12 o'clock on a Friday, and this gym was just packed. The sporting committee did a great job of getting the local schools involved, and they put on a show. The two teams, what an amazing match, right down to the wire, and the Verreor, in the end, come out on top.
The Brock Badgers going on to win in straight sets over St. Mary's. That one, in comparison, was very quick going in straight sets. Brock looking like a sharp team. They made some mistakes, but this is a very talented team moving on to the semifinal.
Yeah, Brock's been one of the dominant teams in the OUA for many times now, many years. They've been in this tournament, you know, the last 3 or 4 years, just haven't had the success at the tournament that they've been hoping for and are capable of. So here they are tomorrow to get another chance in this national semifinals.
The winner of this matchup that you are about to watch between Trinity Western and UBC will be playing the winner of Alberta and Montreal. That is the 1st seed Pandas and the 8th seed Carabin. Look at this matchup here. Let's talk about maybe first the visitors. So the UBC Thunderbirds. One of the players that stands out, of course, we can expect her, Trinity, I don't think it's any surprise here that we're going to see the volume going to Lucy Borowski.
For sure, she's had, all 5 of her years here, she's been super successful on the pin and being our go-to right side the past 4 years and now moving to the left side, and you can expect her to get lots of volume this night.
And Ryan, let's talk about Kaylee Plouffe. She is in her 5th and final season, a graduating player, the pride of Sherwood Park. She has been an impact player. When it's not Marin Bolden, Kaylee Plouffe is coming out of that right side.
Yeah, Kaylee Plouffe coming out of the right side, I think that's the big point, Tim. She has historically been a middle with our national team program. Probably the top middle in the country when she was there, and the Trinity Western Spartans looking ahead to the future to this match, saying, hey, we probably need to move her to the outside, get her more opportunity to hit, and she's done a good job. She's still learning position. You know, it's a hard transition from middle to an opposite, but man, when she is up there skying, we just saw in that replay, she is just a flyer.
Now the Trinity Western Spartans, of course, have been counting down the days until nationals. And here we are. It's the Spartans and the UBC Thunderbirds. Such a rivalry between these sides. I'm sure Trinity will be able to talk about that a little bit more in just a few moments. We just wanted to touch on what these two teams went through during the regular season. It was the UBC Thunderbirds coming out with back-to-back wins. But in the Canada West quarterfinals, it was the Spartans defeating the UBC Thunderbirds in 5 sets. An exciting one. I think we're expecting an exciting one here tonight as we continue to see fans file into the LEC and getting set for this matchup. We are going to step aside in just a few moments and rejoin you on the other side to get you set up for this one. It is Trinity Western and UBC.
Le sport en direct sur ici-tout.tv. 100% énergie. 100% gratuit. Votre meilleur plan de match pour voir des performances exceptionnelles sur l'appareil de votre choix. C'est ici-tout.tv.
Thirsty? With 5 essential electrolytes and 0 sugar, BioSteel is the game changer you've been looking for. All of the good stuff with no extras and no gimmicks, just clean, healthy hydration. Trusted by pro athletes since 2009, steel sharpens steel.
It's not just about the victory. It's about the moments leading up to it. BioSteel, the fuel behind every victory.
Welcome back inside the Langley Event Center. We are just moments away from the starting lineups being introduced for the UBC Thunderbirds and the Trinity Western Spartans, a day that has been counted down for, well, about a year for Trinity Western. And Trinity, I wanted to talk to you about that because 2023, I had the chance to do play-by-play, but you were actually out there on the court. What was it like hosting nationals with the UBC Thunderbirds?
You know, it was absolutely surreal, and so I know exactly how the Spartans are feeling right now. You have everybody behind you supporting you in all aspects, and just the energy coming from the crowd feeds into every play you make on the court. But then I've also been on the side of being the player playing the host team, so I can understand both sides, you know, the nerves and the excitement coming from both teams tonight.
And Trinity, you talk about the crowd, but let's be honest here. I saw a number of UBC fans. Even in the parking lot, I saw a marked up UBC SUV. So I think we're going to see a good crowd throughout, because how well do the UBC Thunderbirds fans travel? How well does the team get supported on campus?
Definitely on campus, they get a great fan base coming out to each and every game. And, you know, it's so great to see tonight having close to just as many supporters out here tonight, and it helps being just a quick drive away.
Tim James, Ryan Adams, and Trinity Selecki with the call for this matchup. Quarterfinal number 3. We already know that the Verrior have moved on. We already know the Badgers have moved on. This is quarterfinal number 3, and the winner will be playing the winner of Alberta and Montreal. We're going to step aside as a broadcast team and rejoin you on the other side of the announcements here for the introduction of these starting lineups.
Deuxième arbitre,
second referee,
Steve Houston.
The line judges are
Les juges de ligne sont
Raymond Young,
Gabe Deval,
Leanne Wong,
Will Laycroft. Et maintenant, il est temps de présenter les joueuses titulaires.
And now it's time to meet the starting lineups, beginning with the UBC Thunderbirds.
Dans la troisième année, un libero numéro 2,
A third-year libero, number 2.
Bronwyn Ettinger. Dans son quatrième année, centrale numéro 3,
A fourth-year middle, number 3.
Jocelyn Lenarchich. Dans la troisième année, un attaqueur numéro 7,
A fourth-year center, number 5.
Elizabeth Lee. Dans la quatrième année, un attaqueur numéro 8,
A third-year outside hitter, number 7.
Kylie Glanville. Dans son quatrième année, un attaquant numéro 8,
A fourth-year outside hitter, number 8.
Kylie Glanville. Dans la deuxième année, un central numéro 15,
A second-year middle, number 15.
Leonora Barbukovic-Nan. Dans la cinquième année, un attaqueur numéro 18,
A fifth-year outside hitter, number 18.
Lucy Borowski. Dans la deuxième année, un libero numéro 19,
And a second-year libero, number 19.
Daphne Demiro.
The Thunderbirds are coached by Doug Reimer. And now, Spartan faithful, make some noise for your Trinity Western Spartans!
Et maintenant, pour l'équipe locale de ce match,
A second-year outside hitter, number 2.
dans la deuxième année, un attaquant numéro 2.
Sienna Trinity! A fourth-year outside hitter, number 3.
Dans la quatrième année, un attaqueur.
Marin Bolden. A fifth-year middle, number 6.
Dans la cinquième année, un central.
Kaylee Booth. A third-year libero, number 8.
La troisième année, un libero.
Sophia Raider. A third-year middle, number 9.
Dans la troisième année, un central.
Isabella Stothart. A second-year setter, number 10.
Dans la deuxième année, un passeuse.
Tiana Dimitruk. A first-year middle, number 11.
Dans la première année, un central.
London Cron. And a fifth-year libero, number 18.
Dans la cinquième année, un libero.
Michaela McBain. The Spartans are coached by Ryan Hofer.
It is time to go here at the LEC. Hope you're excited for this one. A little Friday night smackdown for you. It is the Trinity Western Spartans and the UBC Thunderbirds, quarterfinal number 3 of the 2026 U Sports Women's Volleyball Championship. My name is Tim James, Ryan Adams, and Trinity Selecki doing the color. And Ryan, I've got to ask you about these two teams. I mean, what can we talk about with the history? It goes back so long between these teams. I think of 2023, the national final. I think about the Canada West final. Trinity's got a big smile on her face because she knows what happened in 2023.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the history of these teams.
Yeah, so much history. Just in this year, Tim, they go into the series 2-2 apiece. Trinity obviously won the Canada West semifinals not too long ago, but historically, UBC has the edge at nationals 4-1. Obviously, Trinity hoping to make that 4-2 here tonight, but both of these programs have been the top programs in the Canada West and in the country for a long time now, so it's really exciting. Too bad they're in the quarterfinals, but it's going to make a great matchup for us tonight.
When it comes to the setters, Izzy Robertshaw, who will be getting us underway from behind the service line, is going up against Tiana Dimitruk. And Robertshaw, the more experienced of the two setters in her 4th season. Dimitruk, a sophomore, a second year for the Trinity Western Spartans. With the Robertshaw serve at 6:14 Pacific, we are officially underway with quarterfinal number 3. And it's an initial point for the Trinity Western Spartans.
Yeah, we might see a few of those missed serves. Obviously, big match, big moment. Lots of energy in this building, Tim. And sometimes, you know, Trinity, as you know, just got to calm those nerves a little bit. Let's see how the Spartans do.
Middles go front to back for Trinity Western. This is Isabella Stother, delivers this over. It's a tough one to handle. Robertshaw able to get it over to the pin, and this one's delivered into the net. The Spartans with back-to-back points.
Yeah, good start, obviously, for the Spartans. I think Trinity, I'm not sure about you, but I think that Spartans winning this first set will put a ton of pressure, but also relieve a ton of pressure for them as the home team.
For sure, all games taking that first set, it's definitely pressure off your back, but also just so momentum filled going forward as well.
Stothard backing up the libero. Zettinger had to play that ball. Now Dimitri taken out, so out of system. This is Bolden going over to the pin, the right pin to Plouffe, who scores to position 6 from number 6.
Well, and that's what Kaylee Plouffe can do. As long as you put the ball high in the zone for her, she can go up there and literally, Tim, hit over any block that's put in front of her. That's a big block out there for the T-Birds have, and she literally hit over top of them down to the floor in the middle of the court.
Kaylee Plouffe standing at 6'1" in her 5th and final year. Will she finish this story with a championship? Back onto the Spartan side, there's the rookie London Cron. Cron, by the way, getting the start because, Ryan, we had seen Cron and Graca seemingly alternating late in the season into the playoffs. It's Cron who gets this start. It's all Trinity Western Spartans to kick this one off.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by this timeout from Coach Reimer, Trinity. Just a lot of energy, a lot of extra kind of emotion, a little bit tight on the passing, a little bit tight on the serving. You obviously played for Doug for 5 years, have a lot of experience. You told me you're still practicing with the team even as you speak. So what do you feel like Coach Reimer's saying right now?
Yeah, I totally think that, the main focus right now is the serve-receive side of things. And, UBC can be such a strong offensive team when they are in system. And that even goes to when they're behind the service line. They have so much success behind the service line. And right now we're seeing that pressure come from the Spartans. So I think there's going to be talk about, slowing things down a bit and controlling it on their end.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is an electric atmosphere. This is the start. If you're obviously the home team, this is what you want, to use this crowd, to use the seventh man, so to speak, to get that energy to going. And, it's not easy to perform in that, right? Sometimes it can go too much, too far, a little bit too amped. So far, the Spartans did a good job of handling that excitement and emotions.
And it's not just the excitement here, because elsewhere in the country, we also have the men's volleyball nationals. And CBC Sports is the home of university sports in Canada. The best U Sports men's volleyball teams battling at the 2026 BioSteel Men's Volleyball Championship, March 13th to 15th, from the University of Windsor. And you can catch the action exclusively on CBC Gem, cbcsports.ca, and CBC Sports YouTube, U Sports on CBC, where champions are made. Back to the action. This is rocketed out. And Kylie Glanville goes long, and the Trinity Western Spartans, who would have thought this, have a 5-0 lead to get things going.
Yeah, 5-0 lead, obviously great start. I was just thinking, Tim, if you're a Spartans fan, you're probably torn a little bit because you can be here in person, but the men are also playing at the same time. I'm sure some of the parents in the crowd have the game on their phones, watching online at the same time.
The bleachers here at the LEC are continuing to fill up as we see more and more people walk in. There's the back shot by Robert Shaw, diving over was Dimitri, but it will be a kill and the first point for the UBC Thunderbirds.
Yeah, and that's Lucy Borowski. She's going to be obviously a huge player for them, averaging 3.68 kills per set in the Canada West this season. Lucy, former setter, former right side, got moved to the left side, and she is a workhorse.
Borowski delivers the serve. Watch for her out of the back. There's Cron up the middle. We've seen her show her offense earlier on. Not this time as the block goes up, and it's back-to-back points for UBC.
Yeah, not my favorite choice there from the setter. A little bit tight, a little bit too obvious. Looks like UBC was kind of shadowing, following that block to that situation and just kind of put her in a bad spot.
The noise is picking up, but the fans not exactly where Borowski is. The second set should be much tougher for the Thunderbirds. Robert Shaw over to the left side. This sent down the line aggressively. No touch and a point for Trinity Western.
Yeah, Coach Reimer not happy. A little bit of the Doug isn't coming out early here in this first set. Trinity's doing a little chuckle beside me, and it's pretty early to kind of be complaining, but I get it. If you're Coach Reimer, you're 6'2" here. They have the momentum's in Spartans' favor. If that was a missed call, you really aren't super happy about that.
Kaylee Plouffe has a very dangerous serve. But is she on her game here tonight? Goes into the net on the first one because, Ryan, we've seen this before. When she's off, she is off. When she is on, she is on.
Yeah, we talked to Coach Hofer about this in the media day and just kind of asked about the progression. Was it a choice? And he said actually it was kind of a carryover from the national team in the summer. They kind of changed her serve, and he just kind of went with it and let her continue on with it.
Bogolovic-Nod back to serve for UBC. No libero out there for the Thunderbirds, and Bogolovic-Nod picks up the ace to put UBC within 2.
Yeah, and my guess is, Tim and Trinity, things are going to calm down for UBC, and they're going to calm down also for the Spartans. They're both probably a little bit hyped. Trinity obviously doing it in the good sense, but the match will even out here, I think, by 12, and then we'll see who goes from there.
Only libero on the court right now is McBain, and McBain's going to watch that one sail out. So after the ace, Babulovic nod is charged with a service error, and the Spartans are back to a 3-point lead. This was a team that was up 5-0 early on in this one. Now the pride of Grunthal, Manitoba, Sienna Drieger, back to put this ball in play. National championship quarterfinal goes into the net.
And Drieger is really the only young player on this Spartan roster that's starting. We were talking about when Trinity was playing 2 years ago with the UBC still. You pretty much play against all these players that are currently with the Spartans, and I think she's the only one that's new, so I'm sure you'll be watching out for her.
McBain with a nice pass to Mitrick. Stepping around is Cron, hits from the right side this time. We've seen the action out of the middle, this time stepping around.
Well, I think that's why they went with Cron. She has the ability to run that step a bit better than Kraka does, and she's also a bit longer at the net as far as her block. And of course, UBC has some pretty big hitters out there, some pretty big middles, so getting her hands over the net quicker will be really important.
3-point lead for the Spartans. Make it a 4-point lead with the first ace of the night for Trinity Western.
Yeah, we should say, Tim, if you're watching at home, normally both sides of this gym are not open. So this is a new, even though UBC has played here a lot, this is a new experience for them. Even for the Spartans, a bit different. Normally it's just the one side that's open.
Robert Shaw set from behind the 3-meter line. This is launched up, and it will be good. The kill coming from Elizabeth Lee, the third year from Vancouver.
Well, great to see Elizabeth back playing. Trinity, you can fill me in. She had a big injury. I love her. Coached her at their Canada games along with Bobrowski, but I call her the flying squirrel. But maybe share a little bit of her journey back to being here healthy.
Yeah, she definitely, suffered an ACL injury last season and did not get to compete and play with us. But she has done such a great job with her recovery and getting back. She's made such a difference on the court this season, behind the service line and just bringing that offensive toolbox that the Thunderbirds needed.
Yeah, and Tim and I asked Coach Reimer, hey, what's one player that's kind of surprised you, pleasantly surprised you? And Elizabeth Lee was his answer to that question.
Set her to the back row for the Spartans with Tayana Dimitric in her second season. Sends this across. Robert Shaw on the move. It'll be a middle run. Picked up, though, in the back by Drieger. Now Bolden, roll shot, and Bolden has really yet to heat up here and place that into the net. It's a point for UBC and a big side out because the Spartans can be dangerous with Dimitric back to serve. In this case, it's now back over to UBC.
Yeah, a little bit of a weird play there, the dump, pretty telegraphed in my opinion. Bolden was even there, but it was like, Robert Shaw just kind of put it down underneath her really quickly, almost unassumingly, and scored the point.
Serve finds its way to McBain. Bolden tracks it down. Now the Thunderbirds running the offense. That's out of the back, a bullet. Kylie Glanville, excellent swing, and UBC within 2.
And that's one of the things that UBC's put Borowski on the left side is that it just puts a ton of weight and pressure to that side of the court. You have to respect her, but that's going to free up that D ball for the UBC Thunderbirds.
Spartans with a 3-player serve receive, including Marin Bolden. This ball, Bolden will watch go out. And another service error, and the service errors have started to add up in this set early on.
Yeah, we saw quite a few service errors, Tim, in that TRU Sherbrooke match. Some uncharacteristic service errors from some of their players. And again, it's pretty warm in here, Trinity. We're talking about it's pretty warm. There's a lot of people in here. It definitely does affect the ball and how it floats.
Robert Shaw trying to go for a dip, but she didn't get the first pass where she wanted it. And it will be Marin Bolden once again.
Well, now to me it was similar to the one she kind of was successful at. It was like a little bit of a, not necessarily a confident dump, and usually she's pretty confident with those. It's almost like a little bit of second guessing herself, which again might just be coming down to the nerves.
Bolden delivers that to Borowski, and Borowski going to work, looks to go down the line, and she does a great job of that.
Yeah, great shot from Borowski. She's definitely elevated her game in every facet, having to go from the right side to the left side, passing, even the setter. But just, it's one thing to move to that position, Trinity, as you know. I know you did a little bit of both too, right and left, but it's a different shots, right? Cross body versus off body. So what's been your experience and how you've seen Lucy kind of go through this transition?
Yeah, and, it's definitely harder hitting different angles, season changing one way or another. And I think it's props to Borowski there for being as high as she is and being able to see the block and the open court in front of her and just, move her shoulder and her hand to score those points in the deep corner.
Robert Shaw back for her second rotation serving. She had the first serve of this match. It was off, and here we go. The Spartans unable to return back-to-back serves from Robert Shaw. So the Thunderbirds are on a 3-point run, and now within 1 point. And just a few minutes ago, it was 5-0 for Trinity Western. And here we are, 11 serving 12, as more fans continue to trickle in. Robert Shaw has to make sure she isn't distracted by that. Dimitrik over to Plouffe, hard cross court. There we go. Lee couldn't pick it up, and the kill for Trinity Western, the side out.
Yeah, both teams, you can tell just by looking at the stat line, a little bit uneasy. UBC only hitting 11%, pretty low from them. Spartans were at 0. I'm sure after that kill, they'll pop up a little bit, but that's, a little bit of a sign of, not necessarily flowing and being in sync the way they normally can be.
Isabella Stothert, who is yet to have an attack in this matchup. London Cron with 3. There's a middle delivery. Volleyball Nod picking up the kill and the side out for UBC. And once again, the Thunderbirds within 1.
Well, great shot there. I always talk to middles about, hey, you're always going to have probably deep corners or sidelines open, and she does a great job of pinning that baseline to the corner. As long as you stay patient and look for your opportunities, don't force it, you'll have a shot.
Bolden on the first ball, not a great one. Now Plouffe going to work. It's that to position 6, picked up by Borowski. Deep ball. That will find its way in, and UBC, there we go, have tied this one at 13 in the first set.
And like I said, kind of by that 12-point mark, you'll see where we're at. To me, they're bowling a little bit flat. Again, that's a little bit of those nerves, not necessarily kind of into your body yet.
Again, Bolden struggling on that first ball. Plouffe going to work. She has seen some volume early on from the right side. Now Dimitrik, where is she going to go? It's going to be a middle run for Cron. Couldn't finish that one up. Right side, Dimitrik picks that one up. Drieger going to work. Going off the hands to score.
Yeah, Drieger's been pretty consistent, as that second year, that P2 all season for them, not, doing too much, just kind of doing her job. And, she's doing a good job starting tonight. One thing, Tim and Trinity are going to point out where I feel like anytime the Spartans is pushing their setter to that side of the court, they're just going with them, and they're leaving Plouffe actually one-on-one. They're not, because I think they've seen, and Tim, you remember through the season, I said, she doesn't really reverse the ball a ton when she's pushed that way, and I think UBC has picked up on that tendency, and they're just going to that side of the court, which is, to me is crazy. We have Plouffe on the right side, so I think Dimitri's going to have to find that right side, that long court set, and get Plouffe going there.
Plouffe now has a service error and an ace, and drops this in for an ace. Ryan, we were talking about, is she going to heat up? And there we go. Back-to-back aces for the 5th year.
Yeah, it's a pretty uncommon serve, Tim, especially in the women's game. You have this two-handed toss. It's not a spin toss, but then she kind of puts a little bit of a hybrid spin in, and that's why, it's somewhat inconsistent, but when it's on, it's super difficult to pass.
UBC switching out the liberos with Ettinger now on there for this rally. Dimitrik looking to the middle. Well, couldn't find her target, so there's the side out for the Thunderbirds after back-to-back aces for Kaylee Plouffe. Ettinger now the libero, currently on the floor, although she'll switch up as the middles go front to back on the UBC side.
Yeah, this is something we see Trinity do all the time. They do this double sub, they stick with it. It's not like dependent on how things are going. It's pretty consistent, so it's always super difficult to come in as a setter, but because they do it all year, they're used to it. Obviously, a little bit of a different situation in the national quarterfinal against your crosstown rival.
For Borbolovich Nod serves, just a note that Sydney Gill is now the setter for Trinity Western, the more experienced of the two setters. She's part of this double sub. Borbolovich Nod picking up her second ace of this match.
A great serve here from Borbolovich Nod on the replay. Just flat again. Some of these talk about, oh, you got to serve hard, serve hard. No, you really, it's those balls that kind of just die in front of you and they get really difficult to lunge for.
The noise is picking up once again. Good display of fans for both sides here at the LEC. Oh. Elizabeth Lee wanted it, but launches it out of play. And that will be it for Borbolovich Nod for now, as she will step off, and back out there on the floor is Daphne Demerol.
I'm sure you've never had any of those in your career, hey, Trinity? Never those gimmies, and you're like, oh, no.
I was just about to say, it's always unfortunate when you go up there and you just want that party ball so bad, and it just goes off the arm a little wrong.
Quick middle run. Lenarchich will pick up the kill and side out for UBC. And once again, the Thunderbirds are behind by 1.
Yeah, Jocelyn, to me, has done such a great job. When she went to UBC, I was a little bit, I coached, her through their TBC programs, and but she's put in obviously so much time, so much work and effort, and she's gotten so much better. And kudos to her. Here she is starting in a quarterfinal match at the University Championships.
Thunderbirds trying to draw even here in the opening set. Gill over to Bolden. Hammers that to position 6 and picks up a kill.
Yeah, for those who don't watch, a ton of U Sports Volleyball on the general or Canada West Volleyball. Bolden, one of the top players in Canada West in the country, sits third for kills per set, 3.81. Right behind her, of course, Lucy Borowski at 3.68. So they're both top players here in the country.
Bolden with her first kill. Meantime, a substitution with Claire Pakaluk coming in for Trinity Western. A service substitution. Dickey. It'll be a middle run by Stothard. She's yet to get a kill. Good ovation from the crowd as the Spartans get it over in 3 contacts. Gill down to the floor, but it will be a kill for the Thunderbirds. And once again, UBC within 1 as we enter the late stages of this opening set.
Yeah, it feels like to me, Trinity, that Trinity Western is trying to force and find that middle, and so far it hasn't really been working for them. At some point, you gotta just, hey, like, this was our game plan. It's not really working. Maybe let's just go to something else a little bit different. You're 18-17 here. You don't have a ton of time.
For sure, and you can appreciate going back to the middle and running it to hold UBC's blockers so that when they have the opportunity, reversing it either back or outside to their key big hitters and opening seam. So I can understand why they keep going back to it, but when you're this tight in the opening set of a quarterfinal, is that something you want to be doing when it's not working for you?
Yeah, well, especially when you have Bolden on the wing there. I get you want to spread your offense a little bit, but Bolden and Plouffe are kind of your go-to. And here we are, 19-17. You can't flinch. You can't lose points.
Double substitution once again for Trinity Western. As Sydney Gill is done setting for now. Back out there was Dimitric, who just served the ball. Popping that up is Rader. Now Bolden going to work against 2 blockers. Taking it shallow was Borowski. Middle attack, Dimitric taking out second ball, coming from the middle, Stothard. Plouffe taking a swipe at that one. An extended rally. Robert Shaw going over to the pin. Borowski can't finish this. Rader was there for the Spartans. Now Bolden tipping this one in. The coverage is there. Big push over. Robert Shaw. High ball scores with Borowski finishing that off with a kill.
Yeah, if you're going to give Borowski 3 opportunities, she's going to score on one of them, Tim. And what great defense. What a great dig from Rader. I feel like Rader might be the lone American in this tournament. So many athletes from across the country. She's just from across the border in Linden, Washington, so actually not that far away from here in Langley, but great defense. Unfortunately, not able to convert to a kill and give Borowski another chance, and she makes him pay.
McBain, Dimitric, over to Plouffe, hitting from the left side this time. Hammers that at Borowski. And Plouffe, a player that we highlighted leading into this one, picks up the kill.
Well, yeah, Plouffe, this is what I was talking about. Okay, yeah, you can set middle here, but you got to go with the people that got you here, and Plouffe and Bolden are that. You see Stothard on that kind of 1-foot takeoff. They've changed that in the second semester here, and it's been successful for them, even though they didn't set her.
Bolden from just outside of Calgary. Okotoks serving that ball across. This ball is going to go out of play this is going to land in. And Sophia Rader can't believe it. Looking over at Ryan Hofer, and he's not seeming to protest.
Yeah, no, I thought it was in too. At first I was like, out, no, then it was in. And of course, Trinity's from UBC, and we're the Spartan commentators. But I did coach at UBC as well for 3 years, so I have a bit of a hat. But 7 with Spartans, 3 with UBC, so.
Robert Shaw now in her 3rd rotation, serving. It's Drieger with the left side kill for the Spartans to put TWU back up by 2.
Back up by 2, and you want to put yourselves in this situation, right, where you get to the end of the set. Here we see on the replay, again, that's the hole. Look at that space, it's opening up. That's what they need to do. UBC is choosing to kind of hold a little bit on those middles. That's great. Then you're going to push to the outside with tempo and create that space and that advantage for your attackers.
Isabella Stothard. Demerol in that first contact. Now Dimitric. Looking over to the right side. It was a little bit behind, but Plouffe made the most of it on that swing, and the Spartans are up by 3.
Well, again, Plouffe is only in her year and a half, Trinity, of this right side, right? And so, she's kind of learning all these different nuances and hand contacts, and the set is this far off the net, the set is this far in or outside. And sometimes that kind of newness to the position, that almost Bambi-like situation kind of works in your favor. You kind of hit the ball a little bit strangely and kind of been successful for you. But I know you've had some of those changes as well. But what have you noticed from Plouffe? I know you played against her probably as a middle, and here you see her as a right side. I know she switched there. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think, this just goes to show of what a great player she is. She spent most of her university career as a middle and then just made this change to the right side, and you can just even see it in the way she moves. She's super confident. You know, maybe there's a little bit of doubt, or maybe not, but you can't see that from her. She goes hard for every single ball, and she does such a great job attacking the ball at her highest point and hitting all those angles.
Yeah. Well, we are having some fun here on this Friday night. We wish you could be here live, but hey fans, U Sports wants to hear from you about your viewing experience. Visit usportsfans.ca to join our fan advisory panel. That's how you can tell us about yourself and shape the future U Sports Championship broadcasts by giving your feedback for your chance to win U Sports prizes. Join the U Sports fan panel at usportsfans.ca.
And Tim, just looking at the hitting percentage, a little bit more what we're used to from these two teams. UBC at 273, Spartans at 208, kind of where they want to be. Obviously, UBC down by 3 here. This is a really important side out for UBC, kind of closing that gap. You know, a 4-point gap, 23-19 is not an easy thing to do.
Isabella Stothert to get us back underway as the UBC Thunderbirds have now used their second and final timeout of this set. Spartans with a setter in the back row, 3 attackers at the net. Robert Shaw over to the right side. Borowski going off the block. There's the big side out we talked about. Point for UBC.
Yeah, I would have bet my house that they're, not that I own a house, they would have gone to Borowski. But they, you know, just that off shot, you know, that's something that she just, again, just adding so many more tools. Lucy, one of the few players that spent time with her senior A team this summer in the VNL, so she's had to obviously learn at that level how to score different ways.
Borowski going to Bolden on the serve, and here's Plouffe. She's had a good offensive set. Robert Shaw backpedaling. Now there's a right side swing. Skinner couldn't finish. Now Plouffe is going to tip this one over. The defense collapses. Demerol was down on the ground. Now the Spartans taking control. Not exactly what McBain wanted, but it works. McBain.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. That's 2 balls. What? Oh, net violation. Oh,
net violation.
Oh my goodness.
What a turn of events as McBain gets that ball over. Let's take another look at this.
Oh, yeah. Maybe at net or under the net.
Dimitrik going up for Trinity Western. And now UBC trailing by 1. Can they knot things up here? Dimitrik on the move. She's forced to pass this ball up to Drieger, who went up against 2 blockers. Now Plouffe. A couple of blockers there, picked up by Borowski in position 6. Robert Shaw. And this is delivered in. Elizabeth Lee ties this one at 22.
Yeah, great shot from Elizabeth, but I think, you know, she did telecast that a little bit. She slowed down her approach, was a bit more controlled. To me, when you see an athlete doing that, you know, she's going to find probably a bit of a roll, a bit of a tip. You know, fast feet equals fast arm, and if you're not moving fast in that approach, you're probably not smoking it away, and she has that shot down, Trinity. So what did you see in that play?
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and you know, especially Liz Lee is that more trick shot player, and she has that crossbody high over line shot in her toolbox, and she really utilizes it. But I do agree that if you see that as a player, you almost want to make that adjustment maybe a little too early and then be wrong in a sense of going one way or the other, but there was no way that she was going to get after that hard driven.
Yeah, and I think this has been a little bit of a hole in the Spartans defense as far as that line over. They don't really shift. They do shift eventually, but they play their one up a bit higher, and then they kind of wait and read a little bit. But if you're not, you know, you're not reading that right, you're not moving your feet properly, or you're a little bit, you know, heavy in your legs because of all the energy and excitement that's going on, you know, just not getting that play. And so to me, we haven't seen her really tip over yet. So to me, if I was in 1 here, I think Tiana Dimitri's in 1, I would just wait, be a little bit more patient on the deeper balls, still be able to move for that, you know, short tip, but give a little bit more time, or they have to slide that 6 over earlier.
For sure, and you know, I'd almost expect that shot to come at you when you do have your one defender as high and those gaps up in your defense.
Plouffe going to work. Borowski is done serving for now, and Plouffe picking up another kill for Trinity Western. She has seen the volume tonight.
Well, and Plouffe here we go on the serve, and you know, I think it's going to be either an ace or a 1 or a miss. So here we see.
Plouffe with a couple of aces.
1. Oh, yeah.
And the Spartans will be awarded the point with a violation at the net called against UBC. So Plouffe will go back. No ace this time, but the Spartans come away with the point, and now it's set point.
Well, no ace, but on the stat sheet, we'd probably count that as a 0. I'd count that as a passing error, so I'll still take the credit for my call there.
Here's Plouffe with a chance to take this opening set. Delivers that to position 6. Demerol was there. Now Lee going hard off the block, and that's exactly what the Thunderbirds needed.
Yeah, hard off the block. This is an interesting rotation for the Spartans because both Plouffe and Bolden are in the back row. Of course, Borowski is as well, but those are the Spartans' 2 big hitters. They will set them in the back row, but I would look for the ball to go to Drieger here on the left side, or a pipe.
Bulovic-Nod has 2 aces. Could she get another one here to tie this one at 24? Gets the ball over to just clip the tape coming across. Turns into a joust, and there you go. The Thunderbirds have tied it with a good net presence from Jocelyn Lunarcic.
We expect anything else from these 2 teams here in this first set, 24-24. If you don't know, again, these 2 teams faced in the national championship 2 years ago at UBC. It was one of the best volleyball experiences that this province and this country has ever seen, down to the wire. UBC taking that one.
Yeah, the 2023 U Sports National Championship. Had the pleasure of calling that, doing the play-by-play, and here we go, a free ball. Showtime for UBC. Can they take the lead? They were down 5-0. Bolden able to get underneath that one. Good dig. Drieger looking to go down the line and scores.
Wow, Drieger pulling the Liz Lee, the P2, the controlled shot down the line. Again, that's what they're out there for, right? They can't make errors. Got to score points when they can, or recycle when they can. Dig, serve, receive, but they're not, they're not out there to kind of score all the points. Both of those doing a great job here in the end of this first set.
Substitution for UBC with Kylie Glanville returning to the floor. Meantime, it's Sienna Drieger with a chance to win it for the Spartans. Set point, 25-24. Borowski gets the ball to her setter, and it's a middle run, and that has had success time and time again tonight. Lunarcic with the kill.
Yeah, great run. A little bit of a throw, but it was pretty clean, in my opinion, or at least the way they've called it all season. And, yeah, she was there pretty early, just a nice, smooth motion.
Here's Kylie Glanville in her 4th season. You get 5 to play at the U Sports level, and Glanville is going to go out the back. So the Spartans once again have the advantage in the opening set.
Yeah, and here we go. Cron back to serve. Interesting, Spartans don't use a ton of serving subs. They do the double sub, obviously. They do a sub with Grangia back there, but not really serving subs.
We have seen London Cron subbed out in his service position before. This time gets this serve across. Robert Shaw going over to Lee. Dimitric on the move. Bolden. That was going out, but still picked up. Now the Spartans trying to get something going here. Bolden, big off the block. Plouffe is able to cover that. Bolden sends it at a sharp angle back onto the Spartan side. No libero out there right now for the Spartans. Some good defensive plays. Dimitric going with the dump. UBC able to send that over. Dimitric, where's she going to go? Over to the pin. Bolden popped up by Demerol. Now Lee with the roll shot, diving over was Plouffe. Great defensive play.
Dump.
Now Robert Shaw. Looked like a dump. No! Goes over to Lunarcic.
Wow, what a rally from both sides, both teams. And, I'm glad Bolden starts swinging there at the end, because you're not going to win this on a tip. You got to be aggressive, find edges, but it's tough when those rallies go on forever. You get so tired as a player.
Totally, and I think just you can respect both sides staying aggressive and going after every swing and not becoming tentative in such a tight place of the first set here.
The noisemakers are going here at the LEC as fans continue to file in for this one. Lee delivers that. Left side, Bolden off the mark. Advantage UBC.
Yeah, she went for that, Tim, and we don't have our individual stats like we normally do at the moment, but just missed out the sideline. I like how she went for it, but maybe trying a little bit too hard, a little bit too much to get something going. And I expect her to get the ball again here in this after this timeout.
Yeah, the Trinity Western Spartans have used their 2nd and final timeout. And if you are just joining us, first of all, where have you been? Second of all, it was the Spartans who are up 5-0 to open this set. They started hot here in front of a home crowd. The Thunderbirds doing a great job of battling back, and now the Thunderbirds with a chance to take this opening set in what has been an exciting day of volleyball. Ryan, we've been checking out all of this. I think, Trinity, you were writing an exam earlier on. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so we've been having fun. Yeah. I'm sure you're having fun now as well.
Now you're having fun that your exam's done.
Always.
Yeah, so the UBC Thunderbirds, of course, 27-26. That will be where we are once action resumes. The Trinity Western Spartans break that timeout, and here you go. Kaylee Plouffe and the rest of the team. You can see the fans. They are all decorated on the Trinity Western side, so the pressure will be on. The noise will be amped up for UBC in that second set, as they will be serving next to that 300 student section.
The ball's got to go to Plouffe here. Not Plouffe, sorry, Bolden.
Elizabeth Lee is the server for UBC. Chance to win this one. Gets the ball across. Drieger Now Dimitric forced to pass that ball up. Bolden going to work, sends it at a sharp angle back onto the Spartan side. Stothard wants it, drops it. She had a foot to spare and the middle scores.
Wow, I mean, still a little bit tight from both of these teams. You know, they're in the right spot, they're doing the right things, but a little bit tight on the ball, a little bit tight on the set. Just not fully calmed or relaxed yet. But hey, who could blame them? This place is rocking tonight.
And Ryan, I think this is the rotation you want with Teyana Dimitric back. You have 3 attackers at the net, including Kaylee Plouffe, who has been hot tonight, both from behind the service line and at the net. Drieger pops this one up. So it'll be well, it wasn't a great second ball over, wasn't a good pass. Now UBC going to work with Robert Shaw. Going back over to Glanville, couldn't finish. Robert Shaw, here's Borowski. She scores.
Well, to be honest, Tim, the fact that Trinity, the fact that Borowski didn't get set in either of those first 2 sets to me was just mind-blowing. I'm sure Coach Reimer was also stressing a little bit. She, at the moment, Tim, is hitting 625. She has 0 errors, 625. Finally got the ball, put it away.
No libero out there for UBC. Pavlovic Nod now at the net. Lenarcic delivers this ball 1 foot too far.
Wow. And those are the balls that sometimes just drop in at the very end, and those are the ones that kill you, especially enough this tight battle through. Here we go. Bolden serving.
Maren Bolden with the pressure on. 4 players serve receive. Borowski.
Oh, wow.
She has so much talent. Kill number 7 for Borowski in this opening set.
Kill number 7, 0 errors, Tim. Just hitting all the tools, the toolbox, hard line, hard cross, roll over, tip over. Just what you want to see from your 5th-year player.
7 kills for Borowski, 5 for Plouffe. Will it be 6? Not this time. Borowski now is going to send this over. Dimitric over to Plouffe, going hard off the hands. The coverage is there as Borowski was able to play that first ball. This will be sent down the line. Dimitric looking over to Plouffe. She was away from the net. Redirects off the block.
Wow. And both teams still a little bit hesitant on their movement, on their decisions. And again, you know, to me, obviously, this set I think is more important for Trinity than for UBC. Kind of being the home team, you have, I think, a bit more pressure to win. So having that first set will help them a lot. But either way, these teams need to kind of sort that out for the second set.
This is now Isabella Stothard's 4th rotation serving. Stothard. Middle run, but Bolovic Nod picking up the kill out of the middle. We've seen Lenarcic be hot out of the middle, but Bolovic Nod most recently. And once again, UBC with a chance to win this set, leading 30-29.
Yeah, UBC offense clicking really well. 375 right now compared to Trinity's 18. So a big difference in their offensive efficiency.
Can the Spartans stay alive? Bolden, Dimitric, Plouffe off the hands, redirects. Demerol was there. Lee is shut down. Over to Lee. 2 blockers up, back in her face.
Yeah.
And this will be a Spartans point.
Yeah, good call. That's a tough call, but good call. Coach Reimer a little bit like, but then he's like, no, that's the right call. And yeah, he'll let you know if it's not the right call a few different ways. But good job by the head official there. And tough situation. That referees also feel the pressure of the moment as well.
Lee. Robert Shaw having to chase this one down. Now Lee from outside of the court looking to go down the line. And once again, UBC is out in front. And what looked like a broken down play, the Thunderbirds are still able to make something of it.
Yeah, they had a good positive result on that serve. And then it just didn't take advantage of it again. Lee just kind of chipping away. But Spartans got to be a little bit lighter on their feet in those situations. They're kind of still a little bit stuck on their toes a little bit. Just got to know and look for that.
Barbulovic Nod. Thunderbirds. Set point. That goes out.
Wow. I mean, not a ton of service errors, so that's only the 3rd one this set, but still, for UBC, it's happened kind of at the wrong time here, the last kind of quarter, this last extra overtime here, 2 missed serves. Those are the things that haunt coaches and their dreams.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be giving free points away when you're tied at 31-all in the first set of a quarterfinal.
Drieger goes to Borowski, and Lenarcic is shut down this time. Lee blocked right back on the UBC side, and the Spartans take a 1-point lead.
Yeah, Lee this time kind of going for it, which, I'm glad, but she's a little bit one-dimensional here. Watch, she's kind of going straight ahead and then pulling down the line. And good job by Dimitri making sure she sealed the line, but also got that outside hand turned in and not let herself get abused on that hit.
Sienna Drieger, no aces, one service error, gets this ball in. Borowski mishandles it. Demirel from the back court. Here's Dimitric, over to Bolden, trying to win this set. Borowski pops this one up. Robert shot with one hand. And now can the Spartans settle things down? Over to Bolden, the block going up, and they get it! The Spartans! They were on the brink of dropping this set. After a hot start, they are able to close it out in extra points. 33-31 the score. It will be the Spartans serving first in the second set. Stay with us. You are watching the 2026 U Sports Women's Volleyball Championship on CBC.
Thirsty? With 5 essential electrolytes and 0 sugar, BioSteel is the game changer you've been looking for. All of the good stuff with no extras and no gimmicks, just clean, healthy hydration. Trusted by pro athletes since 2009. Steel sharpens steel.
It's not just about the victory. It's about the moments leading up to it. BioSteel, the fuel behind every victory.
Feel every hit, goal, and celebration as if you're standing right on the sideline, immersing you in the game like never before, bringing heart-pounding action directly to millions of fans. We deliver unparalleled simplicity and tailor-made digital broadcasting solutions crafted to make you feel every moment in a way like never before. Our passionate team ensures your message reaches audiences reliably every time. Proudly Canadian, we bring a touch of innovation and our passion to the world stage. ISI Live, be there.
We are people first and players second. My identity is more than just athletics. It's how Christ shines through me, whether we win or lose. That's what it means to be the light.
You don't just fuel your body, you fuel your drive. We're not here to preach hustle. We're here for the ones who show up. You know who you are. The moms who make mornings feel like magic. The runners lacing up before the scroll. The dreamers writing it down before it's real. And we're here for you. Real fruit, real fuel. Booster Juice. Fuel for what's next.
CBC Sports is Canada's home for university sport. The best university swimmers in Canada are in Markham, Ontario at the 2026 U Sports Women Swimming Championships. Daily coverage begins at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time with heats followed by medal races at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. The 2026 U Sports Swimming Championships exclusively on CBC Gem, CBCSports.ca, and CBC Sports YouTube. U Sports on CBC, where champions are made. Well, welcome back inside the LEC. It is Trinity Western and UBC. After a thrilling opening set, Ryan, I want to talk to you about Maren Bolden, because going into this one, I thought, okay, she's got to be hot here. She's got to play well, and she has not been the standout. Kaylee Plouffe, let's take nothing away from her, but Maren Bolden has not been the main eventer that we've seen before.
Yeah, and sometimes that just happens, at national championships or even in just a single set. The great thing about volleyball from a team perspective, but also from an individual perspective, is it starts back at 0. So she can reset, UBC can reset. And, again, a lot of atmosphere, a lot of energy here, which is, super exciting, but just maybe getting a little bit the best of Bolden at the moment. But I do expect her to rebound here, or they're going to need her to rebound here if they're going to have a chance to continue to win against UBC.
And Elizabeth Lee with 4 kills for UBC. Lucy Borowski leading the way with 7. It's the Spartans serving first in his second set, and we are officially underway with Isabella Stothard getting that ball across. Drieger sends over a free ball. Robert Shaw with his step around to Lenarcic, and she scores, and Lenarcic, she is having a decent night with her 5th kill.
Yeah, Lenarcic's going to be hitting around 600 after that kill. No errors, 5 kills, no errors off of 9 total attempts, and she's been super clean and efficient. She hasn't had a ton of continues either. Pretty much every time she gets set, she's getting the ball to the floor.
Lenarcic to serve for UBC, gets that ball across. Ooh. There's the tip from Kron. The rookie middle up there, now going up to block, and Borowski is shut down, and that's what the Spartans need to do. 7 kills in the opening set for Borowski. They get the block up this time.
Yeah, and anytime you can block a player like Borowski, it just kind of gives you a little bit of confidence. I don't think they really got her once that last set. She was very efficient. Lots of kills, lots of continues, and starting that way for the Spartans is a great show.
There's Blue hitting that hard, position 6. For Bolovic-Nod, the defense collapses. It was Rader down to the ground, first and third contact. Robert Shaw over to Borowski. Hard position 6, picked up by Bolden. Dimitric had to track that one down. Now Drieger looking to go down the line. An extended rally here for the 3rd point in this set. Who is going to get it? Down to the floor once again is Rader. Drieger trying to pick a spot, and she does.
And she does it against Liz Lee, the one who's seen that before. So these two players going back and forth a little bit. Still feels to me like they're just a little bit slow, a little bit not sure of themselves. And again, just got to relax a little bit, breathe a little bit, tell a joke maybe, just calm down. You got to be efficient here. You got to have lots of energy, but also be efficient. It's a tough balance to find sometimes.
Kaylee Plouffe charged with her 2nd service error of the night. She also has a couple of aces. So Kaylee Plouffe will step back. It'll be a 3-player serve receive. Make that now 4-player serve receive for Trinity Western.
Oh.
And Izzy Robertshaw, the setter for UBC, picks up the ace as that dribbles over and puts the Thunderbirds out in front. A much better start this set compared to last.
And Trinity, you played with Izzy quite a bit, so just curious, what is she like as a setter, as a leader? What's been your experience with her as a player?
Yeah, she's definitely leads the team, and really puts in the effort in all aspects. Amazing setter, runs her offense really well and does a really good job resetting her hitters. I mean, we saw that last set. Borowski got 3 balls back to back to back, and not necessarily scoring or getting that kill on the very first one, but putting her hitters in good opportunities when the ball is there to get after that huge kill.
Robert Shaw's serve getting across. She's at 19 assists. Dimitric with 9 for Trinity Western. Block going up once again for the Spartans. Kept alive as diving forward was Plouffe. 2-point lead right now for UBC. Early stages of this 2nd set. Now it's a 3-point lead with Bulovic-Nod picking up the kill out of the middle once again for the Thunderbirds.
Yeah, if we're just looking purely at middle efficiency, offensive production, UBC for sure is winning that battle at the moment. Trinity hasn't set their middles a ton, and they haven't had a ton of success, which, especially Isabel Strother, she can get going. They need to find her, I feel like, a little bit more, and Kron on that step round like we saw in the beginning of that first set.
Lee gets underneath the ball. Borowski, sharp angle, sends this out of play. Point for Trinity Western to break that momentum after 4 straight points for UBC.
Yeah, and Borowski kind of walking, a little bit frustrated after that play, walking around. I get it, but it's only 5-3 here in the 2nd set. She needs to be a leader both on the floor, but also just kind of how she's handling these mistakes and reset, not a big deal, and move on to the next one.
Sienna Drieger with 3 kills on the night. Robert Shaw stays off the net. Bolovic-Nod makes the 3rd contact. Spartans to the offense now, trailing by 2. Down the line, Demerol was there for UBC. Glanville couldn't get through the first time. Maybe the 2nd time is a charm. Diving over was Rader. Another great defensive play. Hitting the ground, and the block goes up. Bolovic-Nod up there with Borowski. Big UBC block, and you can tell the fans, at least half of them, are loving it here.
Yeah, great volleyball from both sides here. We see on the replay. Oh, we just missed that amazing dig from Rader, and then what a big block from UBC. Borowski setting that edge properly, and then middle coming and closing and taking away all angles on that court.
Borowski serving. Watch for her to be a threat coming out of the pipe. Down the line is London Cron stepping around and looking like she's played a few years, but again, just a rookie for Trinity Western.
Yeah, and again, I think we need to see London Cron get a bit more volume. That's her 7th total attempts, going to be her 3rd kill, especially on that step around, at least to kind of hold those blockers a little bit more. They do set Plouffe on that right side back row ball, a fair amount, but they also need to do it in the front row.
Lee mishandles it. Robert Shaw. There's Borowski. We warned you. Watch for her out of the pipe. Picks up the kill. And UBC continues to be out in front here in this 2nd set now by 3 points.
You see Coach Reimer talking to Borowski right now here, what we see on the replay, sorry, but as we're watching live here, a little bit of conversation. Interesting to know what he's talking to her about. What do you think, Trinity? What do you think he said?
Honestly, he's probably telling her to get after that same angle again. You know, she had one blocker up and she found some empty court space in the back row.
Bulovic-Nod with another service error. First one was in the first set, as this was her first rotation back to serve. This brings up Teyana Dimitric, and once again for Trinity Western, this is a good rotation, but Dimitric has yet to build momentum tonight from behind the service line. Robert Shaw on the move from behind the 3-meter line, able to get that ball up, popped up here by Drieger. Spartans going to the offense. Bolden sending it over shallow. Robert Shaw. Middle run by Lenarcic once again as she gets the better of Stothert, the middle on the Trinity Western side.
Yeah, and right now Trinity's just hands are not in and over into space on time. They're there, but they're a little bit late, and they're just, the UBC middles are making them pay, either down and under or around. You gotta get up and over quickly, not just up.
Dimitric from the backcourt, going over to Plouffe, who sends it down the line, easily picked up though. Borowski, roll shot, and the defense collapses with Drieger and Dimitric looking at that and still having a discussion on whose ball that was.
Yeah, they're again just a little bit tight. You know, some balls that are, you know, they shouldn't be. They're a little bit step behind still, both sides still. And so, again, they got to relax a little bit. Try to be where your feet are. Don't get too excited, not too up, not too down. Yeah, and use the energy of the crowd, you know, to help you perform, but still got to move, and that's showing up to me. Trinity is showing up a little bit on these execution, not moving their feet, and a little bit of a miss, you know, free ball or this or that, just inches off, and that's just kind of affecting both sides a little bit.
Sure, and I would even say a little bit on the serving front of things as well. Both of these teams are super strong servers, and you know, we haven't seen that come from the UBC side as much as we have previously in the season.
Ace coming from Marin Bolden. And Bolden, we were talking about Borowski being a threat from behind the 3-meter line. You can expect Bolden to be a target for Dimitric. Here goes Dimitric. Just going to push over to the right side. Plouffe couldn't finish. Thunderbirds going to offense. Lenarcic tipping that into a wide open court on the Trinity Western side. And Lenarcic making it look easy as she picks up another kill, 5 on the night.
Yeah, she's making it look easy, but she's doing the basics really well. She's on time every time. You don't honestly have to hit it hard, but you got to be up and available for your middle, put pressure on the opposing blockers, and maybe you get set, maybe you don't, but she's getting set a lot because she's being successful, but she's also going to help her setter, Izzy Robert-Shaw, free up those outside sets later on.
Lee rockets this one out the back, and the Spartans are back within 2. With the Spartans having a great start in that opening set, up to a 5-0 lead. And eventually the Spartans taking it 33-31. Now Isabella Stothert, who got us started in this second set, back for her second rotation serving. As the middles go front to back on the Trinity Western side. London Craw, the middle up in the front. Borowski, sharp angle, scores. Borowski continues to add to her total now with 8 kills.
And Borowski's, you know, has what I call kind of a heavy hitter. She's a heavy arm, so the ball kind of comes at you a little bit differently. Some hitters hit the ball pretty fast, but a lot of top spin. Her ball comes a bit flat and a bit hard. It's very difficult, you know, in my experience, when you watch her play, to dig those balls because they're coming hard, but they're also not. They don't have a ton of spin on them, and it makes it a little bit harder to control.
London Crawn going to work, and the middle will pick up the kill, and that means the middle on the UBC side that was just serving. Lenarcic is done. She will step off with Demerol returning to the floor, now entering the serve receive.
Yeah, here we see on the replay, Crawn also just being up and available. Doing a good job again on the all-rookie team, so you can see there why she made that selection.
Haley Plouffe. Tough serve that was mishandled. 3 contacts by UBC. Dimitric stepping around as Crawn tips this one in to score once again. London Crawn with her 5th kill.
Yeah, the good, you know, great shot, but I think Trinity, she gave that away a little bit earlier, and I felt the libero again, a little bit like we saw in Trinity, a little bit stuck on her heels, reading it, but not necessarily moving. What do you see there?
Yeah, I agree with what you just said here, and I think, you know, that set was flaring off the net quite early as soon as it came out of the setter's hands there, so I think that's one where you need to make that adjustment early on and, you know, expect the tip rather than staying on your heels waiting for a hard driven to come at you.
Yeah. Borowski goes into the net, and just a correction from a few moments ago, Borowski is actually at 10 kills right now. And that was her 21st attack. Meantime, the UBC Thunderbirds taking a timeout because they were the one out to an early lead in this second set. And now here we are, tied at 11 between both these sides. And just to note that CBC Sports is the home of university sports in Canada. Catch the best U Sports women's hockey teams as they face off in the 2026 Miller Waste Systems U Sports Women's Hockey Championship in Woolwich, Ontario. The action begins Thursday, March 19th, coming up on CBC Gem, cbcsports.ca, and CBC Sports YouTube. U Sports on CBC, where champions are made. Well, Ryan, as we're seeing the momentum start to shift here, what do you think's happening in the timeout on the Trinity Western side?
Well, I think maybe, I'd be really curious to actually know what they're talking about. Are they talking about strategy, or are they more talking about kind of the mental side, just trying to help them calm down a little bit, or sometimes just giving them a couple of things to focus on, also does that for them. But, both teams still playing a little bit amped, a little bit excited, not necessarily the best volleyball they can play, but they're playing with a lot of heart, a lot of energy, a lot of passion. And so to me, I don't know about you, Trinity, but to me, the team that kind of settles down a little bit and makes a bit more quality plays on some of these tips and digs and rolls will pull away.
Totally, and it's that team that can focus on their side of the court and not worry about too much what's happening across the net, and play their type of volleyball. And I think we are yet to see that. There's been glimpses from both sides, the defensive pursuit and extending rallies and then getting after the kill. So I would expect more from that from both teams.
Plouffe with an aggressive serve getting us back underway, and Borowski looking for kill number 11, not going to get it here. Dimitra going with a dump, wide open court, and Dimitra picks up the kill, her first of the night.
Yeah, great decision there by Dimitra too. I think she gave it away a little early, and it was a little high, and that, again, UBC a little bit flat-footed, wasn't sure it was the blocker. To me, that ball should be up and dug, and great choice. I think that's going to help Dimitra down the road. And another great serve by Plouffe and a great set by Izzy.
Borowski sending it over, and now this Spartans 2 offense, and there's Bolden with a rocket, but that was dug up by Glanville. Sent down the line, Plouffe with the first contact, big push over to Drieger, looking to send that into position 6, but that's dug up back onto the Spartans side. First contact by Rader. Here's Bolden hanging in the air, great vertical. From outside of the court was Borowski. Now the Spartans 2 offense, ahead by 1 point, an extended rally. Barbolovich-Nod finishes it off for UBC, and we are tied at 12.
Well, you don't say this a lot, but really I think the middles are what's keeping UBC in this game. They have been on fire, super efficient. Outside's having a hard time, even Borowski having a bit more of a challenging time here. I think also that, to me, that was the first time we kind of saw Bolden be Bolden there on those 2 pipes. She kind of just ripped into it. Great defense by UBC Thunderbirds, but that's kind of the flow and the power we can see from Bolden out there.
So that ends a 4-point run for Trinity Western. Earlier on this set, Robert Shaw was part of a 4-point run for UBC, but hey, no run this time. It's Drieger going off the block for Trinity Western, and the Spartans get the side out, back ahead by 1.
Yeah, going back to the UBC middles right now. Jocelyn hitting 583, Linar hitting 667. I mean, those are awesome numbers, especially in a quarterfinals of a national championship against a quality opponent like Trinity Western.
I think that's our 167 reference there. As Drieger delivers this one out of play, and once again, we are tied at 13. And hey, we had to know something like this could go on between these two teams with so much history. And for myself, I've done a number of national championships, including women's volleyball. And I think back to, of course, Trinity. Yes, you got a big smile on your face because of 2023. I also want to talk about 2019. I flew out to the U of A. They were hosting nationals. It was a quarterfinal, and in 5 sets, the Thunderbirds defeated the Trinity Western Spartans. As Bolden sends this one in, picked up though, the defense collapses. Block going up, and it's Bolden big at the net alongside London Cron.
And Trinity, what do you feel? You've been in these moments, kind of this middle of this match is kind of a really important time, often sort of ignored, 14-13, both teams playing okay, not their best, but kind of finding the rhythm slowly maybe. What are you feeling as a player? What are you hoping for from yourself and from your teammates?
I would definitely say that in this moment as a player, it's really important to not let the pressure get to you because, as the UBC Thunderbirds, you don't want to go down 2 sets to none in a quarterfinal of your national championship. But then also on the Trinity side, you want to be the team that goes up 2-0. So it's just being able to balance those nerves like we've been talking about and the pressures behind it. And I think, we can see it a little bit right now on both sides. Spartans are getting pretty excited when the good things are happening, and then the Thunderbirds are shutting down a little bit when things are not going so well.
Barbolovich-Nod to serve. Her previous serve went into the net. We'll see if the same thing happens here as we are tied at 14. midway through the second set. Gill, part of that recent double sub. Bolden coming over from the left side, couldn't finish. Glanville rockets this one out of play, and it will be last touch off of Trinity Western.
And a little bit of an uncertainty, you know, you always kind of watch the players to see their reactions, and not too much of an argument from them, so usually that means it's the right call.
Yeah, when there's not much of a fight back, you gotta let it just slide at that point.
Spartans with a 3-player serve receive. McBain with the first contact. Here's Bolden. All kinds of pace on that, but goes into the block. Now on the other side, Dickey couldn't get that to go. But Dickey, as the defense collapses, the Thunderbirds take a 2-point lead.
Yeah, and both teams, you know, playing, you know, back and forth, which is kind of what we want at this stage. Still not probably the volleyball I would have thought we'd have seen as far as the offensive kind of power these both teams have. They're still a little bit tippy, a little bit, you know, kind of hesitant. So, but they're making it work, and that's what you got to do. Whatever's happening, you just got to play within that.
The noise picking up once again on that side where UBC is serving. Robert Shaw. Glanville shut down as Stothard and Bolden put up the block, and Trinity Western draws within 1.
It should be mentioned too, you know, these athletes, you know, unfortunately don't play in front of this many fans as much as they should. I mean, this is an amazing sport, and more people should come out and watch U Sports volleyball. You know, UBC has good fans, Trinity has good fans, but this is quite different. And just like, you know, you see professional teams talk about piping in crowd noise, because you can't really simulate that. These athletes, you know, besides maybe the national championships or the quarterfinals, haven't had a ton of these experiences with like 2,000 fans sitting and cheering on.
And off of the Dimitric serve, UBC will score. And I just want to highlight that Dimitric has not been able to go on a serving run so far tonight. And that is a dangerous rotation once again with players like Plouffe up in the front row at that time. But Dimitric instead will be in the back, and she will be racing forward, part of a 3-player serve receive for Trinity Western, as Grandia was the first to make contact. Stothard getting the hands in the way alongside Bolden. Those two have put up some blocks this set.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big block. Sometimes it's hard to tell how tall these, you know, young women are, but they're 6'3", 6'2" out there. And, you know, Liz Lee, she's a flyer, but she's not the biggest left side in the country out there, and kind of trapped or roofed. You know, we talk about volleyball roofing. That was actually, she was under a roof in that situation.
Off of the Marin Bolden serve, Robert Shaw. Over to Glanville, looking for hands, and this is going to be delivered out of play, so it will be Bolden back once again, and we are tied at 17.
Yeah, 17, and this is kind of that third quarter, that stretch after 16. You know, we used to have those technical timeouts at 8 and 16, and we don't have those anymore, but just to me, if you can pull away within 2 or 3, it's a huge deal.
Robert Shaw looking to the middle, and Lenarcic, it works time and time again. Lenarcic, she's approaching double digits in kills.
Well, I'm just so impressed with her, like, decision-making. She's like playing like a pro out there, really. She's making all the right decisions in every situation, every type of set. Especially as a middle, you're not always able to kind of adjust the same way you can as an outside. So she's really impressed me, Tim.
Lenarcic now with 8 kills. Dimitric, big push over to Plouffe, going off of the hands. Robert Shaw pushes to the pin. Borowski going off of hands. Picked up at the back by Bolden. Dimitric, Drieger, cross court, scores.
Got a little bit of a miss hit from Drieger there, but she'll take it, you know, and you're not going to argue, but, you know, those are kind of the good miss hits. Might have landed in, but hard to handle from the UBC. Here we see in the replay. And see that backspin. You don't see too many backspin attacks at this level, but hard to dig. You hear the defenders.
Spartans back to the top of the order with Stothard serving for the 3rd time in this set. Robert Shaw. Defense will collapse. There you go, Borowski. They don't always have to be powerful. Picks up the kill. 19, serving 18 for UBC. Trinity Western, we should point out, still with 2 timeouts.
Yeah, we just saw there on the video, Borowski taking a couple deep breaths. And, you know, she's a workhorse. We talked about Coach Reimer about that. She's always loves lots of reps, and sometimes, you know, it just kind of gets to you a little bit. You just got to relax and kind of let the game come to you. Don't try to fight for it too much.
Blue fits into the block, picked up by McBain on the first contact. And then Strieger delivers.
Trinity, having played with Lucy, a few years, what's been your experience? What would you say as far as her personality, her work ethic, like what she brings to the team and on the floor?
Oh, she is always giving 100%. We'll have a serve and pass, and Doug will actually tell her she can't play, and she'll be like, what are you talking about? I'm getting out there and getting the reps. And that just it just transfers into her gameplay. She has a variety of shots. She can last in those rallies, and it's just great to see.
Yeah. Izzy Robert Shaw going back to serve. Robert Shaw has been the more successful of the two setters when it comes to assists with 34. Tiana Dimitric with 15. But Dimitric, of course, has shared time with Sydney Gill. As Gill part of a double sub that Spartans coach Ryan Hofer likes to use. Borowski goes into the net. A couple of blockers were there. Didn't matter. Borowski with an error. And the Spartans tie this at 20.
Yeah, this is kind of what I'm a little bit concerned with Borowski. Like lots of big, heavy breaths. I think she just needs to relax a little bit, take a breath, relax. Don't try to do too much, right? Do what's given to you, but also stay aggressive. Find the edges, top of the block, edge of the block. Find different ways to score.
6 foot tall, Sienna Drieger delivers that ball across, and now the Spartans trying to put up the block, and they do. Shutting down that left side approach from Glanville, and Trinity Western up by 1 point the late part of this second set.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of heavy swings this match like we were expecting. We've seen a lot of tips and rolls, but we also haven't seen a ton of errors until now. 2 pretty critical errors from UBC on the offensive side of the ball.
Robert Shaw over to Glanville, hooks this one, and it's going to land in. Point for UBC.
Yeah, that was a sharp edge shot. Talking about painting the line, if we'll see it in the replay, but those are those ones, in the VNL, they have those instant replay. Those are the ones maybe as a coach you're probably putting a challenge in just to make sure it was in.
Borowski. As Kaylee Plouffe has to play a game of dodgeball, gets out of the way. The Spartans and the Thunderbirds. The winner will play the winner of Alberta and Montreal. That match is still to come, and you can watch that for free on CBC Gem. London Cron. Isabella Stothert with a big block for Trinity Western, and Stothert standing at 6'3", timeout by UBC. Doug Reimer's second and final timeout.
Yeah, Stothert's third block. We haven't seen her give her a lot of offensive opportunities, but she is a big blocker out there, and they're doing a good job when it matters most here in that 20 on moving forward. So what are you saying if you're Coach Reimer, just knowing obviously being him, but just also from what you've seen from the match so far tonight, Trinity?
Yeah, well, I think, the Spartans have big blockers on their side of the net, and that's shown in the past couple of points here. And if I'm the Thunderbirds, I'm going to be wanting to get high and over that instead of going for the hard shot, into the block, and which we've seen in the past couple. So I would expect a little more, high off hands or that chip shot down the line again.
Well, fans, U Sports wants to hear from you about your viewing experience. Visit usportsfans.ca to join our fan advisory panel. Tell us about yourself and help shape the future U Sports Championship broadcasts by giving us your feedback, and you have a chance to win U Sports prizes. Join the U Sports fan panel at usportsfans.ca. The noise picking up once again. It will be London Cron to get us back underway. No more timeouts for the UBC Thunderbirds to take, and it's Trinity Western leading 1-9 on this Friday night. Quarterfinal number 3 of the 2026 U Sports Women's Volleyball Championship. Cron. Nice serve. Going to work is Skinner. And this will drop in, and that is it for Cron serving. She's also going to step off as McBain will take her place in the serve receive.
Yeah, those are the ball. I mean, this cannot happen here. We see in the replay. Great high ball set from the libero, and that tip over. And yeah, either Stothert, you got to stay there and block, or you got to be ready for that tip. You can't pull up, but you want to do those together, not one. Either both you up or both you down.
Pavlovic nod. The middle and the back row delivers this over to McBain. Dimitric. Gets some height underneath it, and it's Bolden going to work. A scramble on the UBC side. Still a chance, and yes, Lenarchich is going to put this between the aerials. Spartans to the offense, and there's the dump by Dimitric. Oh,
wow.
They will score.
What are they upset about? A double?
Looks like it might have been up. I think that's what Borowski was
Oh,
arguing.
I thought it was down. Well, here we see it on the replay.
Yeah.
Let's see if we see it. I mean, maybe. Oh, I think it might have been partially off.
Robert Shaw might have got that.
Yeah, I think it was partial. I do think that ball was down. Wow, center dub at 23-22.
Tayana Dimitric with a chance to take this set and put the Spartans up 2 sets to none. Robert Shaw down to her knees, gets this set off. Here's Dimitric over to Bolden and goes into the net. Throws the ball away with some displeasure because the Spartans had a chance, and now it will be 23, serving 24.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of a miss set there from the Trinity setter, Spartan setter, and she had Plouffe right behind her. I would just make the simple set to there, put it up high, let her swing away.
Kylie Glanville has gone into the net on a previous serve, but A picks up an ace, and there we go. We're tied at 24.
Oh my goodness, here we go. I mean, we should have expected this, but I did think, you know, Trinity at 23, 21, 24, but wow, a couple major errors from the Spartans. You know, we saw a few from the T-Birds earlier in this last stage of this set, but a couple huge errors from the Spartans at this crucial time.
It's the Spartans and the Thunderbirds. You have a chance to catch your breath. We have a chance to catch our breath as well, and more fun, of course, to come tomorrow as the winner of this match will be playing in the semi-final. And we will have the call, myself, Tim James, and Ryan Adams, and Trinity Selecki for that semifinal. And the loser of this, and yes, one of these teams needs to lose. That's the tough part. Yeah, both of these teams are so great. They will still be playing tomorrow. There is the consolation bracket. And just wanted to talk a bit about that. You know, we asked both coaches what they thought about the draw, and they were both thinking the exact same thing. They hated it. And actually, Doug Reimer said he was texting with Ryan right away, says hated it, didn't like it. He said it's not a complete shock, but what he did do, and maybe this is his style of coaching, you got to look for the positives. He says, hey, we don't have to fly anywhere. And Trinity Western, even though he said it's not a second home, it kind of is in some ways. So
yeah, I think a lot of people maybe not happy with the draw the way it is, but hey, you got to beat every team. You're going to win gold. So whether you beat them here in the quarterfinals or the semis or the finals, you got to beat them at some point in time.
Potentially it could be the winner of this playing the Pandas, and that would be another fierce battle in the Canada West. We are back underway at 24 all, and it's Maren Bolden with the right side kill out of that Spartans timeout.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that's a set Dimitric should have made earlier when Plouffe kind of moving back on the right side of the court here, just put it up. You know, she got the second chance to do that with Bolden. Bolden gets to kill 25-24.
This is Bolden's third rotation serving in this set. Goes to Borowski. Block going up. Scramble on the runner on the UBC side, and there we go. That is Isabella Stothard finishing off the set. What a win for the Spartans. Once again by 2. Trinity Western takes set number 2. You were watching the 2026 BioSteel U Sports Women's Volleyball Championship presented by Booster Juice on CBC.
Hey U Sports fans, check out shop.usports.ca for this week's promotional item from the Nike Team Collection. Visitez le shop.usport.ca pour en profiter de la promotion de la semaine de la collection Nike Team.
Feel every hit, point, and celebration as if you're standing right on the sideline. Our passionate team unlocks a world of possibilities with digital broadcasting made simple, bringing heart-pounding action directly to millions of fans. Proudly Canadian, ISI Live, be there.
En plus d'offrir notre avoine canadienne à grains entiers, la cantine est maintenant l'endroit pour se rassembler, manger et célébrer. Nous sommes fiers d'alimenter la passion du hockey dans son village d'origine, parce que peu importe d'où tu viens, t'es capable.
Le sport en direct sur ici-tout.tv. 100% énergie. 100% gratuit. Votre meilleur plan de match pour voir des performances exceptionnelles sur l'appareil de votre choix. C'est ici tout.tv.
You don't just fuel your body, you fuel your drive. We're not here to preach hustle. We're here for the ones who show up. You know who you are. The moms who make mornings feel like magic. The runners lacing up before the scroll. The dreamers writing it down before it's real. And we're here for you. Real fruit, real fuel. Booster Juice. Fuel for what's next.
CBC Sports is the home. CBC Sports is the home of university sports in Canada. Catch the best U Sports men's hockey teams as they face off the 2026 University Cup, presented by Steel Mazda, live from Halifax. The action begins Thursday, March 19th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time on CBC Gem, CBCSports.ca, and CBC Sports YouTube. U Sports on CBC, where champions are made. And well, here we are, quarterfinal. Champions will be made this weekend on Sunday at the 2026 U Sports Women's Volleyball Championship. Who will advance? Will it be Trinity Western or will it be UBC? And my name is Tim James alongside Ryan Adams and Trinity Selecki. We are your broadcast team. Ryan, I'm feeling amped up here. We are having some fun. Anytime you get crosstown rivals going at it, and now it's a national championship. But we got to talk about UBC. I want to get your perspective. I want to get Trinity's perspective. What do the Thunderbirds need to do? They are down 2-0 to the Trinity Western Spartans.
Well, see, the difference is, Tim, we can be amped up, but we don't have to set a ball or pass a ball or serve a ball. And so right now, I mean, both teams, to be honest, but UBC is the one that's down 2 sets here. They need to kind of get into what's called their ideal performance state. And this is why sports psychologists get paid a ton of money. This is what also makes Coach Reimer so successful, to kind of help his athletes through these moments. But right now, they're just not in that window of their ideal performance state. They're still a little bit too hyped. And for me, and Trinity, we talked about this too, do we feel like Lucy kind of has to lead the way a little bit there. We saw her getting quite frustrated at moments in that match, taking pretty heavy breaths, not kind of deep, slow breaths. And so she can find that and lead the way for her team, and the Thunderbirds can. To me, Trinity, I think that's going to help them a lot.
I agree, and I think, you know, Lucy Borowski holds so much pressure on her shoulders, you know, being one of their top hitters and doing so much for them, and then the Spartans making that adjustment and, you know, either blocking her or making it super difficult for her to score. And hopefully the Thunderbirds can see that, and Robert Shaw can, you know, mix up her setting choices, and we can see more attacks from either side of the court.
Robert Shaw with the set over to the left side to Borowski. Borowski with 12 kills on the night. Sent to the pot, out of system. Nice swing coming off the hand of Kylie Glanville. First kill of the set going to UBC, and it will be Robert Shaw continuing to serve.
Yeah, and this third set, when you're up 2-0, always a little bit of a difficult set. Sometimes a trap set. Sometimes we see the team that's down 2-0, especially if they're a quality opponent like the Thunderbirds, just come back and kind of win the set handily. So we'll see how this one goes.
McBain over to Kaylee Plouffe, launches this one out the back as Plouffe has 6 kills on the night, but she will be off the mark here.
Yeah, and I mean, that was a cool set from McBain, a kind of a back set from the libero in 6 to the D-ball. We don't see that a ton in women's volleyball. Not sure if that's the set I'm making at this point, especially when you got Bolden in the front row, but cool she tried.
The UBC Thunderbirds, the number 5 team coming into this tournament, taking on the Trinity Western Spartans, the number 4. But both teams very even, as you can tell. Both sets to start this one off decided by just 2 points. Maren Bolden going to work. Barbolovich-Nod couldn't shut that down out of the middle. Kill for Trinity Western.
Yeah, Bolden not having her best night efficient-wise. So, I mean, again, if you're the Spartans, you're up 2-0 against the T-Birds, and your best player, arguably your best player, is not having her best night offensively. So there's still some room there for the Spartans as well.
Tiana Dimitric to serve. She's at 17 assists. Izzy Robert Shaw with 35. Looking for 36. Back onto the Spartan side. Plouffe first ball, now Dimitric. Big push over to the pin.
Oh.
It was away from the net as Bolden was going to work, but a point for UBC.
Yeah, and we kind of lost our monitor here, Tim, a little bit. It looks like almost always, but you know, one thing that Tiana, I feel like, could do, she's just not getting rhythm into her set. She's kind of just standing there and waiting, a bit flat-footed. So even if you're not going to jump set, you got to have a little bit of rhythm into that ball, help that your setting rhythm, but also help your hitter rhythm.
There's Bolden going off of the block. Barbolovich-Nod gets in the way this time against Bolden. Point for UBC, now up by 3 points. It is Lucy Borowski serving the ball for UBC. Hitting .267 at this point with 12 kills. Kaylee Plouffe off the block. Now UBC to the offense. Robert Shaw looking for another assist. Going down the line with brilliance was Glanville.
Yeah, Glanville is a player for UBC, I think, that also has to step up a little bit. Only hitting 8% right now. 24 total attempts, 8 kills, but 6 errors. And at this stage, you know, the Spartans or the T-Birds need everybody firing. They've had their middles doing a really good job, but now they need their outsides to come along for the party.
Dimitric, middle run. Stothert will get this side out and put an end to that 3-point run by UBC. The Spartans will rotate with Maren Bolden entering the back row for TWU.
Yeah, Stothert taking a little bit of page out of Jocelyn's playbook, a little bit of push throw to the court, and hey, speed kills. It doesn't have to be hard as long as it's fast.
Bolden clips the tape coming across. Robert Shaw able to stay off the net. Now there's Plouffe. Dimitric pushes over to Drieger. Drops that into position 6 to score.
Yeah, great shot there from Bolden. Again, Tiana's just like really, to me, just looks really hesitant in her setting. She's kind of waiting, and then just kind of going. Her doesn't have a ton of rhythm into that set, doesn't have a ton of rhythm in her hands. And the sets aren't horrible, but they're just not as crisp as they can be with her.
Bolden went down the line on
back
the
row.
serve, and it was Stothert. Point awarded to Trinity Western. As the Spartans are now on a 3-point run. And Ryan, I just wanted to touch on how the Spartans have changed their rotation. Now starting with, it was Tiana Dimitric first to serve and then Maren Bolden. What do you think of that switch up? As it was Isabella Stothert starting off the previous 2 sets.
Yeah, sometimes you just make changes. It probably could be on the offensive and the defensive side of the ball, not just the serving side. So it's like, this is the matchup that we want. You know, we sometimes feel that maybe, hey, UBC is going to start in this rotation, or UBC has a tendency in this third set or whatever to change it up. So there's always these cat and mouse games. I remember I was coaching with Coach Ben Joseph here. Actually, we hosted in 2011 with the Spartans. We started the same rotation every single set, every single match. And then the 5th set against Calgary in the semifinals, we flipped it. We waited all that time and then flipped it and got the matchup we wanted.
Sienna Drieger almost takes a swing at Coach Ryan Hofer there. I don't think she's frustrated, just trying to track down a ball. Meantime, it is the UBC Thunderbirds now with a 3-point lead in the 3rd set, but trailing 2 sets to none. Pavlovic-Nod back for her 2nd straight serve. Looking to build some momentum for UBC. Dimitric on the move, able to get that ball over to Drieger. Takes that at Pavlovic-Nod. Nice delivery from the left side, targeting the middle in the back row.
Well, Drieger leading the way for the Spartans, Tim. Before that kill, she had 7 kills, 0 errors, 12 attempts, hitting .583. So that's going to bump her up 8 kills. She's going to be hitting over 600, which obviously Trinity as an outside is pretty outstanding, especially in the quarterfinal of the national championships.
Totally, and you know, just to add to that, being that outside hitter that you can rely on as a setter is huge. And you know, trusting your hitter to make those plays and put the ball away when it needs to be done.
Plouffe setting that down the line, and now the Spartans going back to offense with Drieger. Sharp angle and drops that before Demerol. Point, TWU.
Yeah, and I thought that ball was probably down, but you know, play goes on, and here we are. And again, especially when you're always going to have to rely on someone to step up. Your best players always aren't going to have their best matches. You know, when you have to win 3 games in a row back-to-back, so you need someone else to step up. Drieger tonight is doing that for the Spartans.
Spartans with no libero on this rally. Lee was shut down. Now Lee put some good pace into it. The Spartans scramble after making contact with the block. Here's Plouffe going over top of the block to position 6. Dimitric taken out, so out of system. Drieger is denied with that left side approach. And it's a 2-point lead for UBC.
Yeah, you gotta get blocked once in a while, especially in the national quarterfinals against a team like UBC. But you gotta keep swinging, keep being aggressive, go for that. And just saw that last play, you know, Tiana Dimitric staying on her feet a little bit more before both teams really early to collapse. Again, just a little bit of those jello legs, not really in their feet, in their body yet. So that was a good sign for the Spartans fans.
And that was not good if you were a fan of UBC as Kylie Glanville delivers that out the back. And this will bring up Kaylee Plouffe, who has had some success, who has had some not so much success from behind the service line tonight. Let's see what she can do with her first serve of this 3rd set. Oh, a beautiful serve.
Yeah, that's going to put her 3 aces, 2 errors. I mean, if you're a coach at any level, you're going to be happy with that. But especially here at this level, even 2 and 2 or 1 and 2, you're going to be fine with. But now 3 errors, 3 aces, 2 errors. That's a great service ratio.
Plouffe with her second serve of this set, going after Demerol. Lee from outside of the court. The aerial's going to move, and it will be a Spartans point.
Those are the type of errors you don't want to see from your P2. She did a good job waiting a little bit on that gather step. Still had lots of speed into this approach. And then just going for a little bit too much there, that kind of pull line. When you're outside the court, you can't really pull line there. I get that go-to shot often. You got to recognize the situation, where you are on the court. And again, kind of go back to Ben Joseph and always talk about, hey, play football a little bit. Sometimes it's not there. You just got to punt the ball, right? You put their defense in trouble, hit the block, get it back in a better position.
UBC making a couple of substitutions in that break in the action. Not helpful for Plouffe, as she will be charged with a service error. But Sol Henson and Mackenzie Campbell did step onto the floor for UBC. And now rotating to the back is Elizabeth Lee. Meantime, on the Spartan side, yes, we do have the double sub. This will bring Sydney Gill in to take over the setting duties from Tayana Dimitric, a fourth-year setter instead of the second-year setter. Setting duties, of course, have changed over on the UBC side with Mackenzie Campbell running the offense. Big push over to Borowski, and that's who you want to go for if you want an assist. Her first assist of the night.
Well, that might have been the hardest hit of the night from both teams. I wish we had a radar gun. They kind of have to show the speed that these athletes are hitting at and also how high they're jumping. It's quite unbelievable, but Lucy just unloading on that cross-court ball, and for her and for T-Birds, that's a great sign.
Lee going to Bolden. Drieger delivers that. Side out, and Trinity Western and UBC tied at 10. They have been tied a number of times tonight.
We should keep track about how many times they've been tied. Trinity, that's your job from now on.
Okay.
Yeah. And the one thing too with the double sub, Spartans have committed to it obviously the whole season. It's what they do, but it also kind of doesn't allow you to kind of have that single sub if you want. You're not going to keep Plouffe off, so Gill's going to get subbed out, but I do feel that Dimitric's still a little bit on edge, not necessarily setting, a slow. I personally would have liked to maybe keep that as a sub, just in case you need to get her in and give her a break, and let Gill have a chance to roll through, because you're not going to keep Plouffe off in the front row.
No, you got
no,
definitely not now. You got to keep her on the floor.
Lenarcic gets us back underway. Here's Gill looking for an assist going over to the right side, and Dickey couldn't finish. Back onto the Spartans side, and they will send it right back over. London Cron tracks it at the net. A mistake by UBC.
Yeah, you got to pass off, set off, hit in, and right now, both teams doing a little bit tight at times, but especially those balls that you're setting inside the attack line, it's so common to put it too tight, too off. Their setter can run the offense anywhere, 2 meters, 3 meters even. Just give them a chance.
Might have been a little bit of a first-year nerves too, as Sol Henson's back on the court, or on the court for her first time tonight, and touching the ball is a little nerve-wracking in a national quarterfinal.
Yeah, the net call there, and that's again a little bit of talking about Lucy being maybe a little bit too amped up, trying a little bit too hard there. She's so high, she's so big. She can be really just simple there, just go down, and again, just a little bit too much.
Here's Cron once again. Spartans with back-to-back points, but this one's going to go into the net. And UBC will come up with a couple of substitutions as Izzy Robertshaw will return to the floor and rotate to the back. Her second rotation serving.
Yeah, we don't have our kind of Spartan stats, which are a little bit more detailed, but we can say in this particular set right now, UBC hitting 17%, Trinity 19%, so they're pretty close to each other. A little bit low for both of them. Speaking, for the rest of the season, but.
Robertshaw picking up the ace. She had 3 serves in a row to start off this set. And here she goes back for number 2 with UBC leading 13-12 in the third set. Bolden mishandles this. Off the give and go, hard to position 6. Robertshaw backpedaling, makes contact as well. She was backpedaling, hit Glanville. But the Spartans will pick up the point. Robertshaw is done serving. And Tayana Dimitrick returning to the floor. That double sub will be reversed on the TWU side.
Yeah, and here we see on the replay, I mean, that could have been 4 hits actually, but we'll watch it. And they didn't call the T-Birds at all on those throws earlier for Jocelyn, so can't call it there. Again, I'm not saying it's a throw, but that's kind of opened the gate for the Spartans to do the same, and Stothard taking advantage of that.
Spartans with a setter in the back row. Dimitrick delivers this over to Demirol. Robert Shaw, good job of staying off of the net. Barbulovic-Nod couldn't get through. Now the left side, Glanville. Here's Dimitrick, pushes over to Bolden, over top of the block. Spartans keep it alive, 2 contacts over to the third, number 3, Bolden. Couldn't finish it off. There's Borowski, she will finish it off. Leading this match in kills, gets another one here to put UBC up by 1.
Yeah, and Borowski back to serve, and you know, Trinity has a really kind of like sort of principle about setting that ball over with 2 hands. I think sometimes it hamstrings them a little bit, where you can't obviously lift it or carry it, so you're kind of stuck a little bit to where you can put it or even how far you can push it. Sometimes I wish they'd go up a bit more aggressive with 1 hand and tip it or roll it, find a different way to score versus just kind of committing to that 2-hand set over all the time.
McBain with the second ball. Bolden had to stop up and change her approach. Trinity Western trailing by 1 point. Big swing by Glanville, backing up Dimitrick on that delivery. It's now a 2-point lead for UBC.
Yeah, we talked about they're going to need Glanville here. She's hitting a little bit better. That's going to take her to her 10th kill. Should bump her efficiency up to around 220%. So they're going to need her and Borowski through this final stretch of this third important set for T-Birds.
Borowski, despite her success at the net, still no aces. Stothard gets the side out, and Borowski is done serving. The middle for Trinity Western in the front row picks up the kill.
You know, and that's one of the changes, and I wish we asked Coach Hofer yesterday about that, Tim, about why they went to this 1 foot, but this is a good reason why to do it. When that ball is kind of passed to that right side of the court, it kind of allows you to get there a little bit quicker, like that step-around motion.
Bolden, second rotation serving in this set. That was Stothard and Drieger, the duo going up for the Spartans, and we are tied at 15. And I don't know if Trinity's keeping track on all these ties. We were just joking about that, but oh my goodness! If you are just joining us, you are just joining us. This has been an exciting one between these 2 rival schools. The first set, 33-31 for Trinity Western. The second set, 26-24 for Trinity Western. And here we are tied at 15 in the third. Dimitrick plays the first ball, so out of system. Rader. Over to Drieger.
Wow. Wow, these young players for the Spartans. Drieger only in her 2nd year. Stothard, I believe, in her 3rd, Tim. Just leading the way here for the Spartans. That's unbelievable, really. And just sometimes, you know, like if you're those 5th-year players, you have a lot of pressure. You're like, yo, this is it. This is what I got to do. This is all I got. You know, if you're the T-Birds 5th years, you're like, this is it. It could be it. When you're a little bit younger, you don't necessarily feel or maybe understand the situation or the moment, Trinity. So, you know, you guys obviously put a lot of national championships. When you were a younger player versus kind of when you graduated, I know you guys won 2 in a row, kind of to cap off the end of your season. So what can you share with that?
Yeah, I think it's just, you know, the different mindset between a younger player and, you know, maybe a 5th-year player like we were talking about, and just being able to play free and not have that pressure on your back. Whereas, you know, as a 5th year, it's your last national championship of your youth sports career, so you want to do everything in your power. And being that younger player, you just want to be there for your team, being able to make those plays, and we're seeing that especially on the Spartan side here.
Tim James, Ryan Adams, and Trinity Selecki with the call for this 3rd quarterfinal of the day. By the way, the 2026 U Sports Women's Volleyball Championship presented by Booster Juice continues all weekend in Langley, British Columbia, March 13th to 15th. Tournament packages and single game tickets are on sale now. You can visit usportstickets.ca to order your tickets today. Chase the glory.
Well, just looking here in the stand, I think there's maybe 10 seats available, looking kind of around. So packed house, which is obviously what this match deserves. And again, unfortunately, it's the quarterfinal match, but still happy so many people came out to support and watch these 2 amazing programs, these 2 amazing teams, and this amazing sport of volleyball we all love.
And I've noticed more and more blue trickling in because the Montreal Carabin will be playing a little later on, looking for the green, where the Pandas fans have to spot them like a game of Where's Waldo. Dimitrick pops this one up out of bounds is Bolden, and now Drieger. A couple of blockers there. Dimitrick back inside of the court. There's Blue, tipping over the block, drops that to the 3-meter line, and the Spartans will score out of that break in the action.
Yeah, to me, I think that's a good example. So I was talking about Drieger went up with 2 hands, kind of obvious, a little bit stuck to where she had put the ball. Blue's not the best tip in the world, but you know, able to kind of manipulate that ball, put it up, and here we see the 1 hand again. That's a little early for me, and I think your liberos or your off blockers got to get that for them.
Bolden float serve handled by UBC. Lee tips this one over, taking the setter out. Out of system, Rader going over to Drieger, the block, trickling down off of Bartlovich nod, and it's a point for the Spartans, and they are now up by 3.
I don't even think Drieger really is having a plan sometimes what she's doing. She's just playing so relaxed, so free, kind of going in, talking to that ideal performance state where she's kind of out of most of the players on both sides right now has kind of found that right place to be. She's competitive, she's engaged, but she's not too up, she's not too low. She's in that right spot, and it's just letting her go. She's seeing the right things, she's feeling the right things, and she's trusting herself to do that job, and that's kind of what you want here.
Well, Fans U Sports wants to hear from you about your viewing experience. Visit usportsfans.ca or click the QR code on the screen to join our fan advisory panel. Tell us about yourself and help shape future U Sports Championship broadcasts by giving us your feedback for your chance to win U Sports prizes. Join the U Sports fan panel at usportsfans.ca. Well, the noisemakers are going here, but I just want to point out, Ryan, I was talking about in the second set how UBC would be serving near the student section. It didn't seem like they were necessarily affected by all that noise. And Trinity, what is it like when you're playing at War Memorial Gym or at the LEC and it's so loud? Do you even notice all the people making noise?
Honestly, I think it gets to a point where you're so dialed in and focused into what's happening on the court. Everything outside of that is blocked out. I know for me personally, playing in some super amped up games, I haven't paid attention to the fans unless, you're on the bench, but it's still fun to have that little banter with the fans back and forth when you are serving and they're up in your face.
We have had some of that fun at War Memorial Gym with all of the Trinity Western fans coming out for that 2023 National Championship. It was a hot crowd. Back underway with Trinity Western up by 3 points in this set, leading 2-0. It's a must-win set for UBC. 3 contacts, and now it's showtime for the Spartans. Dimitric over to Plouffe. Free ball scores from the right side.
Well, that's right there, Tim. That's why they made this change with Plouffe to the right side for this moment right there. Give her a high ball, a high right side, and again, Dimitric's done a better job of that. I was on her quite a bit throughout the season, just putting that ball too flat for Plouffe. She's not able to get up and around. Again, she's so high, she touches so high, and as long as she can hit with some extension, she's going to find success and never see it.
Now Amy Skinner joins a 3-player serve receive for UBC. And Skinner targeted on that serve. Robert Shaw, the set from behind the 3-meter line, back over to Skinner. Sharp angle, and it's going to send that out of play. No more timeouts for UBC. They have substitutions, and that is what we are seeing with the reversal. Elizabeth Lee and Amy Skinner switching spots.
Yeah, interesting choice there from Izzy Robertshire to set the sub coming in. That's a tough situation anytime, let alone 2015 in the quarterfinal, down 0-2. Probably wouldn't be my choice.
Bolden. Here's Robert Shaw, middle run by Bolovich Nod. Great defensive play initially by Dimitric, but it will be a UBC point, so Thunderbirds fans, they're still hanging around here. No more timeouts. They've got some substitutions, but trailing by 4 in a must-win set.
And Bolovich Nod still no errors, 5 kills on 10 attempts. Spartans are getting closer to picking her up, but still finding success.
Dimitric over to Plouffe. Couple of blockers there. Nice defensive play by Borowski in the back. Dimitric diving forward. McBain, second contact, now pushed over by the Spartans. Robert Shaw over to the right side. A delayed block coming over to take on Glanville. Lee couldn't get through. This turns into a joust.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's the right call, but so close, because I don't think Izzy's going to have a good play on that ball. And a little bit too keen, a little bit too aggressive Stothard going over early. If she's kind of had to wait it a little bit, I think that would have played out the Spartans' favor. Man, huge point for the T-Birds.
Bolovich Nod serving. She's been able to find the floor with an ace earlier on. 17 serving 20. Bolovich Nod. Another tough serve. Dimitric plays it off of the net. Good job by the setter. She will back up and get ready to play defense. Here's Plouffe. Dimitric. Big push over to Drieger that redirects and scores.
Yeah, and both teams, a little bit still unbalanced on those defensive. They're collapsing pretty early to their feet. Got to stay on 2 feet, 2 hands. That's what we're going for. And again, so some of those heavy legs, a little bit uncertain, not in the flow. And right now, Spartans taking advantage of that situation in that particular rally.
Isabella Stothard with her team up by 4. Robert Shaw. Big block going up. Robert Shaw this time is going to try the other side with Lee going over top of the block and drops it into the soft spot.
Drops it in the soft spot, and again, that's how she scored. And again, just collapsing. You got to stay, at least take 2 steps before you go to the ground. And right now, both sides kind of unbalanced, kind of collapsing early, and haven't really kind of found that flow on defense.
Dimitrick over to Drieger, and the author of the offense gets it over to the left side, and a kill for the Spartans to put them up by 4.
Well, this reminds me of some of those Spartan alumni watching. Evelyn Campen came in against UBC. It wasn't in Nationals, but it was in a semifinal, quarterfinal. Came in as off the bench. I know Drieger starting, but just ripped it up, and we're seeing another performance from a young player, a young Spartan as well.
Kloof with a tough serve. Robert Shaw trying to dump that one over, showing off her veteran skill.
Yeah, and I think the play before kind of made the Spartan block a little bit hesitant to actually go, because I thought that ball was in the middle. They could have made a play. They chose not to. I didn't think they were going to get called again. But that time, Robert Shaw made him pay.
There's honestly nothing else Robert Shaw could have done in that situation, I don't think. So it worked out in her favor there, but ideally the Spartans are picking up on that and, putting up a block.
Yeah. The Spartans drawing closer to taking this quarterfinal. 23, serving 19. A must-win set for UBC. Lucy Borowski, one final chance to win a national championship. Will she be relegated to the consolation bracket? The fans now standing up on their feet. Still a relative hush, though, as Drieger serves the ball across. Mishandled, so out of system. UBC going to work, but there's Borowski. Setting it over to Dimitrick. Over to Maren Bolden, looking for the point to put the Spartans up by 5, not going to have it. And Borowski going off the block and drops it in to score.
Wow, Spartans got lucky, unfortunate there. UBC can't give Lucy a second opportunity there. They get one. Spartans don't take advantage of it. Good job by UBC getting a positive touch on Bolden to give Borowski a second chance, and she puts it away.
Lenarcic. Here's Bolden. Good angle, picked up though. Nice defense by Borowski. Backpedaling, and Borowski's going to send this ball over. Showtime for the Spartans. Dimitrick over to Bolden. Hammers that to position 6. Kept alive by the Thunderbirds. Sent over shallow. A couple of players bumping into each other. Cron and Plouffe. Now Bolden's going to send this down.
Yeah.
The Thunderbirds, too many contacts, and here we go. 24. Serving 20. Doug Reimer doesn't have any more timeouts. It is a must-win point for UBC.
Yeah, here comes the serve. We've seen the serving sub a lot, but this first time tonight, what a time to come in. You're a first-year player, Keller Pakla, coming in 24-20 at Nationals on your home court. Wow.
Spartan faithful with an arm in the air, one finger up as well, as is tradition here at the LEC. Pakulik serve, gets across. Robert Shaw looking to track this one down. Borowski needs to get this one in. Hammers that over. Good pace on it, but back to offense. Go to the Thunderbirds. Borowski once again, second time, hammers this off the block and delivers it down. The Thunderbirds are still alive.
Yeah, good job, Lucy, staying aggressive there, swinging, going away. Spartans again got to get their hands into space a bit earlier. They're just letting too many of these balls kind of go down. If it goes around your block, whatever, maybe your defense picks it up, maybe they don't. Off your block, obviously great. Too many balls still going down inside of their arms. Big serve from Izzy Robert Shaw coming up.
All eyes at the LEC on Robert Shaw. Needs to get this ball in. She does. Bolden gets it to Dimitrick. Off the give and go. Bolden! The block going up. Arbulovic nod, part of that next to Glanville.
Well, Bolden's being just kind of a little bit too blinded right now, kind of going at one shot hard where she's facing. Again, you can do that, but you got to turn your wrist maybe a little bit, find an edge, find a change of pace. Right now, just kind of going and trying a little bit too hard, too obvious. Her angle didn't change. Her angle didn't hit off her line at all. Again, don't tip it, don't roll it, but just find a slight edge with her wrist, find a slight edge with your temple, change it up just slightly because the blockers are too big and they know the ball's going to go in Bolden there.
And we do love to hear from everyone watching on CBC. We do have an email set up here, the broadcast team. If you want to reach out, it is usportschampionship@gmail.com. We will be checking that one as the broadcast team. If you have any thoughts on this matchup, who should be the player of the matchup? Not that we have any power on who's to be picked, but Brian, I'm sure you have some thoughts on who should be picked.
Well, personally, I think if it's Spartans win, it's going to be Drieger. She's just been unreal, just kind of a quiet, consistent all the way through, and kind of really helping carry her team through this quarterfinal match against the Spartans, you know. And if it's UBC, yeah, it's a tough one. I think maybe Izzy Robert-Shaw, maybe for them, kind of been a steady, and here she has the opportunity to keep them alive.
Setter in the back row for UBC. The Spartan faithful back on their feet. One arm in the air, one finger as well, as is tradition here at the LEC. Robert-Shaw needs to get this ball in. First step she does. Now the Spartans are going to go to the offense. There's Bolden delivering this in and scores!
Well, there it is.
The Spartans took it in the Canada West playoffs. The Spartans take it again at Nationals, defeating the UBC Thunderbirds 25-22 in the third set to win the match in straight sets.
Wow, what a great match. You know, obviously, you know, one team has to go home. We'd love to keep going. Obviously, if you're a Spartans fan, you're happy with the 3-0 win, but this is, you know, what we came to expect and hope for between these two amazing programs. We've seen this so much, Tim, throughout the years. Trinity, you've been a part of this for so much, and again, it did not disappoint. You know, obviously, as a former UBC alumni, I'm sure you're a little bit disappointed, but happy, I'm sure, for the quality of volleyball and the fan experience.
Yeah, I think overall it was an outstanding match, and we talked about this a bit earlier that, you know, it shouldn't be the quarterfinal match, but that's just the way things go, and I think the Thunderbirds lacked a little bit on the confidence side of things, and, you know, maybe that's because they're not in their home gym, whereas the Spartans were, but I think the Spartans came out firing a little bit more confidence and just playing free.
And Trinity, did you notice that even from some of the body language? Because you played with some of these players. What were you seeing specifically with the UBC Thunderbirds, with the big crowd, with all of the noise, with the pressure on? What did you notice with body language?
I mean, we've talked a bit about some deep breaths by players and, you know, just trying to move on from previous plays. And I think it's really hard, but an important skill to have, to be able to let the pass go, and I think we saw that quite a bit on the UBC side of just carrying errors forward into their play.
And Ryan, let's talk about the Trinity Western Spartans. They made some errors along the way. Wasn't necessarily 100% perfect, so let's talk about what you enjoyed and what do they need to work on going into the semifinal tomorrow.
Well, I think, you know, again, you can't really replicate this experience playing in front of your home crowd with this many people watching you against a quality opponent like the UBC Thunderbirds. And so to have a match like that kind of now under your belt, you know, it's going to really serve them well moving forward. Obviously, you know, both sides did not play their best volleyball tonight. They had a lot of passion, a lot of heart, but again, a little bit overhyped, overactivated at times maybe. You know, but the one person, again, we talked about, Drieger, was probably the one that wasn't, or at least found that early enough. Her and London Cron, the two young first and second years, and really that's the big difference. You know, Drieger, 23 attempts, 15 kills, Tim and Trinity, hitting 6.09 as an outside, as a second outside, a P2 in the national quarterfinal against the UBC Thunderbirds. It's just unbelievable. It's the thing you dream of as a player, and as obviously as a coach to have that performance from your P2 second year is just unbelievable.
In just a few moments, we will have the Mikasa Players of the Game, one from each team. So stand by as we wait for this here on CBC. We want to thank you so much for joining us, and just a quick shout out for what is still to come with the Montreal Carabins and the Alberta Pandas. The #1 team and the #8 team going head to head in the quarterfinals. Their fourth and final quarterfinal matchup to be played here at the LEC. A long day of volleyball. Some introductions, of course, being made.
Well, those are two, the UBC Trinity representatives. Kylie's married to Lisa's brother, Rudy. Rudy won national championships here at Trinity. Kylie won, obviously, with UBC player as well. So a Spartan T-Bird alumni kind of getting together and marriage happening. So, you know, these teams have a lot of respect for each other and obviously some connections as well.
And Izzy Robert-Shaw will get the nod. She was the busier of the two setters when it comes to assists. So congratulations to her. Of course, the dream of this season, winning a national championship, not going to happen as UBC has been bounced to the consolation round. But still a solid performance from Izzy Robert-Shaw.
Yeah. I was saying if that was not the player, I was gonna I'm gonna quit and go home. Again, you have an amazing performance, unbelievable. Just things that like storybooks are made of. You can not have asked. And, what a great moment for her. She really helped carry her team, especially when Bolden was struggling a little bit. And you need an outside, obviously, at this level to be successful. And, that probably wasn't the story we were going to talk about coming into this match, Tim. But, wow, what a great story.
And so again, both these teams will be in action tomorrow. The UBC Thunderbirds moving over to the consolation bracket and will play the team that does not advance in the upcoming quarterfinal. Meantime, the Trinity Western Spartans have advanced to the semifinal. The host team will be taking on the winner of Alberta and Montreal, and that is still to come on CBC. So make sure you do join us for that. We are going to hit pause on our broadcast side and just throw it down to the floor as Sophie Carpentier is going to catch up with Sienna Drieger, I believe, in just a few moments. Stay with us.
All right, fans, let's go down to the court. We got an interview with our player of the game.
I am here with Sienna Drieger. What a game. Although it was 3-0, you guys fought till the end. 33-31 in the first. Crazy. Can you tell me, with this matchup, a little rematch of last weekend, can you tell me what the conversations are like in the team room, coaches, players, as you find out you are playing UBC?
Yeah, I think we really just try to be thankful for the opportunity, and we know we're always going to get great volleyball with UBC, and we've played each other so many times, they're just down the road, so we got really excited and knew it was going to be a great night of volleyball like it was.
Awesome. And can you tell me what's next? I know you don't know necessarily who you're playing with. How are you preparing for this? How do you feel? Does it feel like a weight has been lifted? Are you kind of playing with house money now? Now that you're at home, you get to play free heading into the semifinal?
Yeah, I think we knew tonight was a really big matchup, and we kind of tried to take one game at a time, so I think we'll do the same thing for tomorrow and just be really thankful for the opportunity to play together and see what tomorrow brings.
Awesome. Congratulations and good luck tomorrow.
Fans, your Trinity Western
Just heard
Spartans.
from Sienna Drieger, the player of the match, Mikasa player of the match for Trinity Western. As if you are just joining us, it was an exciting one with the Spartans winning in straight sets against the UBC Thunderbirds. Who would have thought that would happen? Tim James alongside Ryan Adams and Trinity Selecki. And just before we wrap up, Trinity as a former UBC Thunderbird, obviously a heartbreaking loss for those players. Talk about what we're looking at going into tomorrow. UBC still needs to play in that consolation side.
Yeah, I think, the mental side of things, it's always hard to bounce back from a loss. And, I mean, we even saw that last weekend in their semifinals. But I think it's going to be a test for them to see how they can come out tomorrow, because you still want to end on a high note. It didn't go your way tonight, but how can you come back even stronger, learn from today, and then eventually win the consolation.
And Ryan, finally, how big was this win for Trinity Western?
Well, I mean, huge. It's not just the win, it's the years, 20 years that Coach Hofer's put in this program to get to this point, all the planning, and so to be able to continue on to go for a championship medal here on your home court, it's more about this one match. It's years of time and effort, alumni, so on and so forth. So obviously really happy for Coach Hofer and his coaching staff and the team.
And we are not done, because you can join us for the next broadcast featuring Montreal and Alberta. That is coming up in just a few minutes here on CBC. On behalf of the entire U Sports on CBC crew in Langley, my name is Tim James. Ryan Adams, Trinity Selecki doing the call. We're reminding you that the final score of today's match was Trinity Western taking it in straight sets over the UBC Thunderbirds. Thank you and good night from the LEC.
U Sports on CBC, présenté by U Sport à Radio-Canada, une présentation du gouvernement du Canada, the Government of Canada. Nike, Fox 40, Veraburn Medical Supply, Les Bagues Baron Rings, BioSteel, APAR, and by Booster Juice.